Oh fuck. Oh shit, bro. I was playing around too much.
I can dance and play the part if that's what you ask. Give you all I have. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it.
Oh shit.
But I'm only human.
Yo.
And I bleed when I fall down. I'm only
Oh
human.
fuck.
And I break down. You
Shit,
words in my head,
Ah.
knives in my heart. You build me up and then I fall apart. 'Cause I'm only human.
Whoa. Lag. Fuck. Oh fuck. No. No.
I can hold the weight of worlds if that's what you need. Be your everything. I can do
Plant the
it.
creep.
I can do
Bomb
it.
diffuser in place.
I'll get through it. But I'm only human. And I bleed when I fall down. I'm only human.
Left. Nice.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
User located. Disable it. Mission failed. All friendlies have been neutralized.
I'm only human. I'm only human. Just a little human.
Make me want to get the pre-workout. What happened to music, man? This shit was so good.
Cause I'm only human.
Oh, give me chills right about this.
Fall down. I'm only human. And I crash and I break down. Your words in my head, thoughts in my heart. You fill me up and I fall apart. 'Cause I'm only human.
Drone has found a bomb.
Face shots in the face, don't sugar on your legs. Nah. Burn away our carbon beam, knock your legs off. Try to get away from me. Had to stand off. Hit him in the spine. Knock your dreams off. My orders is called a body. I didn't name them random mouse. Dunking in my
10 seconds before insertion.
Why do you stare at me? I'm just trying to scan.
You've located a bomb. Make your way to its location and defuse it.
Another nigga bitch, says she got a feet. I'm out in the party. I'm on my big bullshit. Get it started. Bitch, I got no setting up a call me cold. 24. Can't fuck with her no more. That little bitch, she do the most. I get in groove on every time I see them folks. I got it down the door. Thinking that's something you need to know. I'm smooth and I'm cold. She know my wrist control. Skinny jeans on with a big bang roll. She paying my songs. I got something on my song. I'm trying to get it on. She feeling all over my feet bone. Two rights don't make her wrong. It just go on and on. I'll kick shit like Jackie Chan till they got my kicks on. Burn away our carbon beam, knock your legs off. Try to get away from me. Had to stand off. Knock your dreads off.
Come on, bitch.
Reloading! One in the head already decocked. I pop out with a beef, I won't see me creeping on your block. I went to bed 3 deep and got 10 feet of shot. I hit the auto switch and made it twerk. They watch me throw the block. Got the drop on all his spot. He can rob if he go or not. I know the taste, a little walk, he pulling up in his Audi top. They boot your head up, tried to pull a move and that shit got him dropped. Brother, you pussies know what's up. Turn a nigga to a pack, we break him down and roll him up. Ain't shit change but the whip, now it's a
Down
roll
to one
truck when I'm
friendly.
pulling. And I still ain't check the time up on my Cartier, just hold it up. Don't come around acting gangster, we call you brr. With trust in the fire, I don't know we dangerous. If you keep me skied up, bitch, give it up or I'm a bust. Shoot your shit up on the
We
E-way,
have
get
been
out the same
eliminated.
line as us. Burn away our carbon beam, knock your legs off. Try to get away from me. Had to stand off. Hit him in the spine. Knock your dreads off. My orders is called a body. I didn't name them random mouse. Ducking in my Reebok. Ride with a T-shot. I heard he shot. Turkle make a beatbox. He made that shot turn. Wore his bottle, pick the car. Had a mask. Turkle make him beatbox.
Best motherfucking rapper, nigga. This baby,
Ah,
nigga.
bruh.
Let's go. Ready
This
to
part
get it
came
started,
on.
nigga.
First part.
Hi. Hey. Hey. Hey.
Oh, boy. Let's see.
Open your window and let the G2A spring
Yeah, bro, I
sail
got
in.
emails.
Get ready for blooming flowers.
Homie, don't see him coming, but I do. Them niggas is creeping behind you. Never move that work if it ain't your
Time
turn.
for me should happen behind you.
The bullets is flying now.
The
That
boy
boy
is
is crying
crying
now.
now.
But
Nobody
nobody
hears
hears
the
the
sound.
sound. I see dead people. Never cheat on me, she said. She was talking to a man with a heart full of anger and a 357 banger in her hand. She put two in his chest, put two more in his head. She said if she can have him, then nobody can. She wouldn't let him go though, didn't have the strength to hold on, but they gun to her head and squad.
Dead people.
Baby, you killed my homeboy, so I gotta avenge that. Black man, and I know where you is at. I went through a lot to get you, so I know I won't miss you. I'm killing whoever with you. Every deity that guides my life. Dear Lord, don't let me die tonight. But if I shall before I wake, I'll accept my fate. I committed sin, my heart was in the right place. Deal what I did to put food on my plate. So when they come for me, keep me safe. I see dead people coming out of their grave, wiping dirt off their shirt, still walking around the earth, watching they left your girl, climbing out of their grave, wiping dirt off their shirt, still walking around the earth. I see dead
You need to
people
locate a bomb.
out of their grave, wiping dirt off their shirt, still walking around the earth, watching they left your girl, climbing out of their grave, wiping dirt off their shirt, still walking around the earth. I see dead people.
Your drone has found a bomb.
I see dead
See dead. Grave, wipe the dirt off their shirt.
Location.
Hey, somebody bring us a backwood. Hey, somebody bring us a backwood. Grab one.
The boy is crying now.
Look, hey, did I tell you I see dead people in my dreams walking around the earth, coming out they grave, shit even wiping dirt up off they shirt. Zombie mode, 20-hour shift whenever niggas lurk. Headshot, kept on shooting after, trying to make it hurt. Hurt me to my deepest bone, them days I see my mama cry. Up close and personal with that shit left me traumatized. Evil way of thinking, in my head we playing homicide. You gangster, and that nigga test your gangster, niggas gotta slide. Faced the nigga more than once, can't tell you how that happened. But I smacked them other niggas, survived the critical damage, blood was bracket. And off of the second shit for the cast, check the score, we up more. Don't think niggas out here just rapping, set it off, and this bitch literally We all through Scrivener Street, fucking with some hoes, so I've been cruising where these bitches be. If phone drain her pockets, I bet I drain a bit mentally. 16, take the R out the free and do it for a fee. But back to this killer shit. Shooters moving militant, don't know what he told or how he told. That nigga still a snitch. I heard the sucker called him a body, that nigga still a bitch. Black mask, I bet this white boy proved my innocence. 10 letter bangers around me, you know what's going on. Been locked in with the view since 14, we ain't just making songs. Walk up on a nigga kinda weird and then I take his dome. 50 with the baby nuts on it, nigga, did I tell you I see dead people in my dreams walking down the earth, coming out they grave, she even wipe the dirt off they shirt. Zombie mode, 20-hour shift whenever niggas lurk. Headshot kept on shooting after trying to make it hurt. Crazy to my deepest bones, the days I see my mama cry. Up close and personal with that, she left me traumatized. Evil way of thinking, in my head replaying homicides. You gangster, nigga, test your gangster, niggas gotta slide. 2-1, niggas gotta slide.
Op 4 last stop standing. Op 4 eliminated. Friendly mission successful.
Great, wipe the dirt off that shirt. I see that.
If you travel, you know how to pull off a perfect getaway. You know after you enroll with your Delta SkyMiles Platinum American Express card, you get up to $10 back monthly on U.S. rideshare purchases with select providers, like a car to the airport. You know which remote retreats have the best herbal baths, and where the Wi-Fi password is rarely used, because you're the escape artist. It's why you're a Delta SkyMiles Platinum American Express card member. If you travel, you know. Terms apply. Purchases must be on card. Visit go.amex/you know.
Need to use your drone to locate a bomb.
Toyota's Ready, Set, Go sales event is on. Right now, get a low 1.99% APR on the powerful Tundra and Tundra Hybrid. Or check out the all-new redesigned 2024 Tacoma. Toyota, let's go places. Click the banner or visit toyotaca.com for details.
Shouldn't have to remind you. The bullets is flying now. That boy is riding now. But nobody hears the sound. I see dead. Never cheat on me, she said. She was talking to a man with a heart full of anger and a 357 banger in my hand. She put 2 in his chest, put 2 more in his head. She said if she can have him, then nobody can. She put that I roll up, then have it, then put hold on. But they can't go ahead and squad. If you kill my homeboy, so I gotta avenge that. Black man, and I know it's that. I went through a lot to get you, so I know I won't miss you. I'm killing whoever with you. Yeah, God's my life. Dear Lord, don't let me die tonight. But if I shall before I wake, I'll accept my fate. When I committed sin, my heart was in the right place. I did what I did to put food on my plate. So when they come for me, keep me safe. I see dead people coming out of their grave, wiping dirt off their shirt, still walking around the earth, watching they left your girl, climbing out of their grave, wiping dirt off their shirt, still walking around the earth. I see dead people coming out of their grave, wiping dirt off their shirt, still walking around the earth, watching they left your girl, climbing out of their grave, wiping dirt off their shirt, still walking around the earth. I see dead people. I see dead
Standing all alone, ain't no more my throne. 17 shot rule, deeply in my zone.
back against the wall. Surrounded by you million me, prepared to go to war. Cause I'm my worstest, I'm my worstest, I'm my worstest enemy. I'm my worstest enemy. I'm my worstest, I'm my worstest, I'm my worstest enemy. I'm my worstest enemy. I'm my worstest enemy. I'm my worstest, I'm my worstest, I'm my worstest enemy. Wish my daddy would've never thought of me. Mama should've aborted me, but she was overjoyed in birthing me. Didn't see me as a liability, only as a opportunity and responsibility to be the mother she always wanted to be. But didn't see the streets or the penitentiary as part of my destiny. No, it kills her when she look at me, knowing she hate what she see. Wish she would've never gave life to me, but she don't know I feel the same way deep down inside. Man, I just wanna die, so I ask the Lord why you give me effing life? Was it for a reason? Spread your message through the version that I'm spitting to suffer for all the sin I committed. Is that why my family disowning me like I'm a nuisance or a menace? Feel like I'm a disease and I'm contagious. I'm my worstest enemy, I'm my own casualty. When I look into the mirror, man, I'm hating what I see. Why he staring back at me and why he keep enticing me? Why he keep on taunting me? Why he keep on telling me I ain't gonna be shit? I'ma always be his bitch, I'm sick and tired of this shit. Reaching greater for a fifth, ready to end this bullshit. Cause I can't take it, no nigga. Standing all alone, ain't up on my chrome. 17 shot Ruger, deeply in my zone. Back against the wall, surrounded by a million me's prepared to go to war. Cause I'm my worstest, I'm my worstest, I'm my worstest enemy. I'm my worstest enemy. I'm my worstest, I'm my worstest, I'm my worstest enemy. I'm my worstest enemy. I'm my worstest enemy. I'm my worstest, I'm my worstest, I'm my worstest enemy.
Y'all heard it here first. Y'all seen it here first, man. Pioneering, if you want a stereotype. You feel me? Your boy Mike Sick World, Larry Bird Flew, High Off Like TV. Get in the comments. Get at School to Goon Kitchen Talk Music. Till next time, we out.
Y'all give me all the motherfucking time y'all want to. I ain't about to tell on my niggas, dog. I'm a real nigga. I ain't about to tell on my niggas, so fuck y'all. Fuck the camera. I know y'all got the cameras in, so fuck all that shit. I ain't still on my motherfucking niggas, man.
Witness. When we slide, we gon' leave a victim. Get to running when we slide, them 2 through 3's rip shit, niggas snitches. Spill the beans when they hear the sentence. Niggas really tattletales, I swear this shit sick, man, fuck a witness. When we slide, we gon' leave a victim. Get to running when we slide, them 2 through 3's rip shit, niggas snitches. Spill the beans when they hear the sentence. Niggas really tattletales, I swear this shit sick, man.
This ain't Tom and Jerry, I ain't beefing with no rap bitch. Niggas getting plugged every day, tryna sneak this down on my ass, so I'ma get it out this thick bitch. This little freak smut who been running in them chicken. Hey, bitch, it's Lil Deuce. Mr. kicked the hoe out, she ain't selling cool. Took my pops and my bro, I ain't got shit to lose. Fuck a stock, bitch, I'm sliding with this mini boo. Ooh, damn, yeah, I'm with all the shit. Hung up the porch at 13, started hitting licks. Me and Jay were on foot, really bipping whips. How you with the bounce, I never did a skip. Shit, hey, niggas not tough. Ever since I got pop, I get the Glock tucked. I'm EBK till I die, I'm locked up. Niggas speaking on the set, niggas getting popped.
Fuck a witness. When we slide, we gon' leave a victim. Get to running when we slide, them 2 through 3's rip shit, niggas snitches. Spill the beans when they hear the sentence. Niggas really tattletales, I swear this shit sick, man, fuck a witness. When we slide, we gon' leave a victim. Get to running when we slide, them 2 through 3's rip shit, niggas snitches. Spill the beans when they hear the sentence. Niggas really tattletales, I swear this shit sick, man, fuck a witness.
Slap.
Dogs coming on. Going on, I'm back, nigga. Hey, I ain't fucking off a perk. then I'm bustin' fast. I'm the type to make your baby mama pump the gas. Pop out your bushes early morning while you dump the trash. In your yard with leaf blower like I'm cutting grass. It's grow season, I'm cutting weed like a landscaper. A band chaser, keep a pole to make my plans safer. 40 jumping out my palm, it's a handshake. That bitch forgot about little Brisk cause she is anti. That bitch forgot about little Brisk cause she be doing drugs. I call this 40 cal snail to shell shooting slugs. Ain't too many from the fruits cause we recruiting thugs. Don't bring that nigga to the hood, we ain't doing blood. Slurkish niggas do the job from the inside. Screw a potato on a barrel and make french fries. Knock a hoe when I see when I got pimp eyes. You could ride the wave, Brody, just don't dick ride. I ain't off a perk, I probably bust in 40 seconds. Oh, you ain't know it's the gang, I'm from 42nd. Front line like all the time when the homie step. I slide with high point if that's the only weapon. When I'm thugging with my roosters, I be chasing chickens. She know I'm different, when she suck me, she could taste the difference. 50 round Andre Drummond, you gon' play the Pistons. I ain't pimping, but this game I'm spitting, making lessons. If I ain't fucking off a perk, then I'm bustin' fast. I'm the type to make your baby mama pump the gas. Pop out your bushes early morning while you dump the trash. In your yard with leaf blower like I'm cutting grass. Grow seeds, I'm cutting weed like a landscape. A band chaser, keep a pole to make my plans safer. 40 jumping out my palm, it's a handshake. That bitch forgot about it, Bruce, cause she is in. He put my name in the song and got his clout stole. In Iraq, you need a stick, this is South Pole. And quitting politicking, fishing through the mouse hole. It get cold when cell living be your household. At any minute, it can go up in the chow hall. I took a strike that I ain't want like a foul ball. Not a pimp, but got a bitch that's on the outcall. Fucking with these snake niggas be my downfall. Running fades in the bounty like who next in line. Sitting back cause petty shit'll get you extra time. You better hope you fuck the bitch if you message mine. Cause I'm the type to fuck a wife that had a desperate mind. Baby booty juicy, so I call her bootylicious. Seem weird, but even wetter when she do the dishes. I be swimming in her river like a pool of fishes. Playing tug of war with these hoes, I be pulling bitches. If I ain't fucking off the perk, then I'm bustin' fast. I'm the type to make your baby mama pump the gas. Pop out your bushes early morning while you dump the trash. In your yard with leaf blower like I'm cutting grass. It's grow seeds, I'm cutting weed like a landscape. Chaser, keep a pole to make my plans safer. Just turn out my palm, it's a handshake. That bitch forgot about it, she is in.
Watch out, Sledge is down there. He might be on stairs. Yo, mute to the right. The stairs over there. He might be on those, but I'm more than sure he's on the other ones to the right. He could be wrong. Sounds like he's right there.
You act real paranoid and shit. Now these motherfuckers smoked your goddamn
Yeah, he's right there. Good shit. Good shit.
Little bitch right now, nigga. Fuck that, I ain't letting that shit ride. We gonna go ahead and smoke all these motherfuckers. I don't care who the fuck out there.
You have been spotted by hostiles. Fall back.
Everybody dying, you gotta play it like the Hunger Games. Cool.
Where you from, nigga? Cause everybody in my section gon' be dead.
On the mob, nigga. Hot boy, nigga. EBK Osama, nigga. Been Laden. I've been mobbing out with no delay, just trying to see another day. Activated mercenary, trying to down a sucker cake. My baby's on a high bitch, we just came up on another cake. Cracked another safe. Last, also mob like couldn't shit the barber way. We can do it the harder way. He didn't want to share, so we took everything up on his plate. My baby really blowing bananas. Playing letter A, playing with Giannis with everybody. It's EBK. Shooting like the NBA, knock everything up off your face. Bitches boom cake. Bad face like I'm mob like. Bring a nigga to his death day when his cat is shake. Drop the baby stocking like this hoe. Yeah, they get you drunk. Death race. Everybody running.
Diddy.
Like broad day, but this K right through they city. Funk mob, the real mob, the team niggas killy. Sitting on the ass, slightly clutching, blowing on his hilly. I'm on the 6 like I'm Duff, I got 8 chains, 2 things on me. A bundle of that Luke Kane. Hot boy, yeah, I'm a black boy, it ain't no new gang. EDK 2, let it gang, nigga, this LG. Just yanning on my person, snap faces like selfies. Leave a nigga noggin bleeding out, they can't help it. You better hurry to the scene. 911 emergency, his brains and skull fragments everywhere. I think we murdered. All they heard was pussy, nigga. Give up all the currency. I'm blasting niggas currently. Don't make me hurt a nigga. Stick put shells in your back like Ninja Turtles, nigga. I'm the Grim Reaper. I ain't never ever heard a nigga. When I was down and on my dick, I never heard from niggas. That's why I'm lurking with this squirter on my purses, nigga. Riding with a hot bitch, keep hammers in your purses, nigga. Keep a trap bitch on my line. I be working, nigga. You ain't working, what's your purpose? You a worthless nigga. Bitch, I had to kick them doors in. Take that work from niggas. You ain't never kicked no dough in. Take no work from niggas. You ain't never made it clap and had to twerk it, nigga. You ain't have to deal with back-to-back murders, niggas. Locked up in that cage all day and night dreaming about purging niggas. These pussies got me in my feelings like a virgin, nigga. Trying to hit shit with dirty dick like I'm burning, nigga. This Steph Curry dunk shit like Irvin, nigga. 2K18, I'm in this foreign, just swerving, niggas. This Steph Curry dunk shit like Irvin, nigga. 2K18, I'm in this foreign, just swerving. Run it back, nigga. Last game, shot his gang shit. For the gang, nigga. This is my life, nigga. Shit. Let me talk to these niggas, just keep it off the gram, nigga. This the last one. Alright. The Grim Reaper with this hoodie on. Cause I'm just trying to take it so. Doop it in the field for hella long and still ain't changed the score. Hey, nigga, I'm finna nay in the end zone. I ain't gon' even speak on other blood because he been gone. Yo, other homie almost died too, but cut his chin strong. The last nigga cross pass with the barrel, he got spit on. Hey, it's the color box, I'm finna spin on. Little Koopy pop the dough, we finna get on. Hey, look, nigga, I'm a game changer, and bitches everybody killer. I'm a gang banger, might squeeze this 40, I'm a dang yanker, I'm not a game player. I just pulled this shit on the I'm finna change later, hey nigga. Cause I'm finna double back this stick, I'm riding with a lift your load. This is not a jack, fully on the A, so when I squeeze it, make me jump and jack. Them niggas keep on making diss songs, but I am not on that. What's up with Slat? Tell them niggas come and get their brother back. Little brother trying to take us all, so we been kidnapping. And blood gon' keep on acting hard until some shit happen. Just all little saucy checking in, I tried to bitch slap him, but hey nigga, they was trying to send me back to jail. You can't kill a demon, but they trying to send me back to hell. Look, shit, they trying to crucify me. Schizophrenic cuts in the years, so I'm finna shoot somebody. Hey, look, bitch, so just get out the way. 20 gangster in them songs, but he live out the way. You the fuck these niggas getting on 1,000 miles away. 2008, my niggas dropped about 1,000 rounds a day. Smoked the other J, and niggas smoked about a pound a day. And that was 2010, and I ain't gonna even know Bill, but tell him slide again. Nigga, come and slide again, alright, nigga. 11 years ago, the last time them niggas killed before, but they gon' feel it though. Nigga, y'all ain't never murdered one of mine. Every time I bang a right on script, the niggas run inside. Knocking on the second door, I'm finna come inside. Why these niggas always running high? I ain't gon' speak on heartbeat because he testified. And ain't no nigga hard as me, I put that on my life. Hey, nigga, I put that on my life, nigga. Little brother, yeah, he testified. But ain't no nigga hard as me, I put that on my life. Alright. Free J-Bo, nigga, alright. Fuck the suckers, nigga. Alright, nigga. Talking about some shit that happened hella long ago, nigga. I don't even know you niggas like that for real, though, man. But the niggas I do know, though, for real, though, on my kids, though, niggas know you hoes, bro. Then beat multiple you niggas up, bro. For real, rolled you niggas up, bro. Then got on niggas and hella shit, bro. On my kids, bro. Like, keep it off the net, keep it off the wax and hella shit, nigga. Keep it off the internet, though. For real, on YouTube and shit. All in the comments and shit like, oh, fuck EBK, fuck Rory, fuck Casino, oh, 210. Nigga, you sound like a bitch, nigga. On my mama, fuck your dead homies, nigga. All of them, nigga. Fuck the whole mob, nigga. All that shit, nigga. On 2-1, nigga. On my kids, nigga. Get up with me, though. For real, though. On my mama, though. I'm up to score, nigga. 200, though. Nigga, aye, nigga. Aye.
Find what you love.
Let's see what's going on with this. Anything over here? Nah, not really. Anything over here? Not really either. What do y'all like?
Setting up. They won't see this coming.
Claw is out.
Laying out the welcome mat. Doorway trapped. Ready that we're going out.
10 seconds remaining. Down to 5 seconds. Op 4 has yet to locate a bomb.
It's time to level up your streak. Go to own.pro, the ultimate streamer tool. Access over thousands of templates, overlays, alerts, music.
Vladimir Putin commands the world's biggest nuclear arsenal and stakes his authoritarian grip on providing strength and security. The massive terrorist gun attack at a Moscow concert hall on Friday, killing more than 130 people, is the Kremlin's worst nightmare. ISIS-K has claimed responsibility. Russia, without any evidence, says Ukraine played a part in the attack. 2 of the 4 suspects pleaded guilty after they were allegedly tortured by Russian security services. One reportedly received electric shocks. She was demonstrated, another was allegedly forced to eat his own ear. Well, attention is now turning to how Putin will respond. Does this attack on Russia make the world an even more dangerous place? To discuss this more, like Annie Jacobson, investigator, a scenario. Well, it's a scenario, Annie Jacobson, that we're all beginning to have to get our heads around, because Saber rapping Putin before this about using nuclear weapons was getting louder and louder. I can't imagine it will get any less loud following a terror attack of this magnitude. First of all, let me just say that. It's great to have you. What's your take on this terror attack? We hadn't heard much from ISIS for quite a while.
No
way.
Russia.
How damaging is this to Putin?
I mean, it is an interesting concept we're dealing with right now. And when I think of Putin, I think of the fact that
Mission failed.
he is the longest serving Russian president since Joseph Stalin. And so everything that happens in his orbit is about power. I mean, to come out of the gate and blame
preordained. As Russia continues its long march down roads of Putin's choosing, people around the world would be well within their rights to be asking questions. How did Putin assume such complete and total control of Russia's political system? Why do his people allow him to get away with it? And what does the future of Russia look like now that the 21st century Tsar has, for all intents and purposes, declared himself president for life? Election weekend. In Russia, presidential elections are a multi-day affair, one that in 2024 stretched across a long weekend from March 15th to 17th. Early voting for people living in remote regions of Russia began a couple of weeks prior on February the 26th. Across all Russian oblast, basically provinces or states, plus Ukrainian oblasts Ukraine, voters represented
Be advised, Op 4 has found a bomb.
They were Nikolai Kharkov of Russia's Communist Party, Vladislav Davenkov of the People Party, and Leonid Slutsky of the Democratic Party, as well as independent candidate Vladimir Putin. In Moscow, St. Petersburg, and other Russian cities, once the heart of Russia's opposition movement, but now firmly part of electoral Putin territory, the voting took place without much trouble. The weekend was largely overcast in Moscow.
Op 4 has located a bomb. Be ready for hostile action.
With temperatures voters arriving to polling stations were greeted with banners emblazoned with the letters V and Z, unofficial symbols that the Russian government has adopted to represent its ongoing offensive in Ukraine. Many people came in organized groups, particularly state employees.
Come get your armor.
Outside Russia claim are ordered to cast votes during election season or else face repercussions at work. Others came in ones and twos, saying they wanted to make this while they participated in a process that belongs in most places. Elections weren't even the most important thing going on, amidst celebrations of a pagan holiday that's supposed to herald the end of the winter season. As Russia cast its votes, it struck a defiant posture toward the global West, reiterating via press spokespeople that Russia's democratic process is not to be challenged or mocked by other nations. In a reiteration of a common line for the Kremlin, sham-like qualities of its voting process, citing the myriad shortcomings and failings of these other nations, usually failings that have little to do with Russia's situation, in order to insist that Russia shouldn't be lectured about what it is in its territory. Efforts to point out that Russia's elections were neither free nor fair crap. What about his enemies? The usual claims that Putin has strong support in Russia. That, by the way, is a claim that couldn't be verified even if it were true, owing to Russia's refusal to allow foreign, non-government or media organizations to do their work inside Russian borders. International observers were similarly barred from taking part. Spokesperson Dmitry Peskov about the decision, quoting, "We will no longer tolerate criticism of our it's not the kind that it should be. Democracy is the best, and we will continue to build it." Efforts to condemn Russia's extension of its voting process to four occupied Ukrainian blasts were met with a dismissive wave of the hand and sentiments just new ways to cover the Russian blasts. They're gonna love him. Across Russia, acts of resistance weren't common exactly, but they weren't absent either. In a large-scale protest on Sunday the 17th, many prospective voters chose to show up in a protest called Noon Against Putin, standing at or outside the protest but not casting ballots in order to show solidarity with other people who are against the Russian regime. That was one of the last acts of resistance suggested by Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny prior to his recent death in a Russian colony. Happens the door for international movement across the Russian diaspora. Navalny's face, his name.
Oh shit. Thank you. Hold up, 1 second, my bad.
But without any purpose other than a show of solidarity, Noon Against Putin came and went without incident. Other protests by the families of Russian conscripts hoping to advocate for their return were broken up and harassed by police. Outside the organised protests, individual citizens also took matters into their own hands. In several incidents across Russia, people poured liquid dyes into ballot boxes or tried to set fire
what's your
to polling
Discord?
stations,
I got
including
you.
one woman from St. Petersburg who threw a Molotov cocktail at a school where 2 polling stations were operating inside. Others spoiled their ballots and posted photos on social media. The United Russia Political Party, the country's dominant political organisation, even suffered a cyber attack during the busiest days of voting. But even still, for a nation spanning 11 time zones called home by over 143 million people, these incidents were relatively rare. By and large, the weekend featured a relatively docile voting public, one in which even opposition movements didn't attempt to engage in any action that might have brought even a sliver of hope that something might be changed. Vladimir Putin's 5th presidential term was all preordained. The Russian unions. In occupied parts of Ukraine, the voting process of the 4 blasts that Russia has illegally annexed, plus the isthmus of Crimea annexed in 2014, support for Russia has dropped. Just for example, the separatist insurgencies that raged for years in Donetsk and Luhansk provinces in Ukraine's Donbass region started courtesy of the pro-Russian local population before they ever got support from Russia. In Donetsk and Luhansk, now rather firmly under Russian control, voters who were enthusiastic about casting their vote for Putin did it in cities and towns with signs that Russia had consolidated its authority, billboards, posters, and plenty of armed guards to ensure election security. They were joined, according to some anti-Russian sources, by Russians bussed in from elsewhere to inflate voter turnout. But other residents of the annexed blasts have told a different version of events. According to videos and other accounts posted to international social media, local poll workers going door to door in those blasts have done it accompanied by masked gunmen. In these areas, voters aren't required to go to the ballot box. Instead, they can cast their ballots from their own doorsteps, during which time, pro-Russian leadership fully admits, residents can expect to be filmed with armed.
Be advised, Op 4 has located a
All of
bomb.
that happens under the umbrella of a campaign called Inform IUK, ostensibly meant to educate voters about the process by visiting every resident of Donetsk, Luhansk, Kherson, and Zaporizhzhia blasts in their homes. In practice, the Putin regime hoped for a demonstration of strong voter turnout in these places, where, of course, people casting their vote at gunpoint will be able to choose between the obvious choice they're supposed to pick, Putin. There's 3 alternatives they've likely never heard of. As Ukraine's governor of the Russian-occupied Zaporizhzhia region put it, our citizens are very afraid. Of course, if Russians with soldiers come to their flat and ask if they'd like to vote for Putin, everyone will say, okay, yes, because everyone wants to save their life.
No way.
For Moscow,
No,
strong turnout and thus a strong vote for Putin is a way to make Russia's territorial claims appear more legitimate, so that Putin and other Kremlin representatives can dismiss all the asterisks around them with little more than a wave of the hand. There was, however, one more wrinkle to Russia's electoral process this year, specifically
Mission
attacks
failed.
and sabotage
All
by
friendlies were
Ukraine,
eliminated.
other armed groups, and ordinary civilians. On the day that early voting began in the occupied region of Kherson, bombs exploded in the city of Nova Kakhovka, targeting the local headquarters of Russia's dominant political party, as well as a polling station. Days later, Ukraine's main intelligence directorate would report the killing of a local woman in the Zaporizhzhia region who had been helping out with Russia's electoral process. When asked whether the people who killed the woman were associated with the Ukrainian government, Ukraine's governor of the region confirmed it, quoting, "Yes, of course, there is great cooperation between our resistance inside the temporarily occupied territories and our secret services." On the 15th of March, an improvised explosive device went off inside a polling station in Kherson Oblast, injuring 5 soldiers. The following day, Kherson's Russian governor claimed that a Ukrainian drone strike had injured 4 more people and killed 1 in an attempt to interrupt the vote. Even more significant, though, was a limited incursion into western Russia by multiple anti-Putin armed groups. These are Ukraine-backed groups opposing the Russian government, but they're made up of Russian fighters. Starting on March the 12th, these groups, including the Freedom of Russia Legion and the Russian Volunteer Corps, the Sibir Battalion, and maybe more, they've taken over multiple settlements inside western Russia's Kursk Oblast.
Your
At the
drone
time of
has
writing,
found a bomb.
they claim to still hold that territory. The incursion is meant to be a direct protest to Russia's election, especially the imposition of elections on occupied Ukrainian territory. With the backdrop of that incursion, Ukraine has launched several dozen drone attacks across the parts of Russia that are
10
within
seconds
its
to
range,
insertion.
scoring a few hits in the process against infrastructure and supply targets. Meanwhile,
5
Ukrainian shelling of the border city of Belgorod is believed to have backfired. First meant as an attempt to impose costs of the
located a bomb.
Ukraine invasion
Make
on
your way
Russian
to its
citizens
location
during the
and
vote.
defuse it.
It's believed to have instead spiked turnout in Belgorod as citizens there retaliated with their ballots. In the end, neither protest nor active war would be enough to stand in the way of the result. When the vote count was released on March the 18th, Vladimir Putin won with 88.48% of the total vote, including 76,277,708 individual votes, alongside a turnout rate of 77.4%. As is generally the case when Putin runs for re-election, the runner-up was the communist candidate, Nikolai Kharitonov, who came away with 4.37% of the votes. Team candidate Leonid Slutsky received 3.24%. It was the biggest margin of victory by far of Putin's entire political career, along with a higher turnout than in Russia's last presidential election. Even with so many caveats about the illegitimacy of the vote, it's still telling that in a system where Russia can essentially write whatever final number it wishes on the vote tally, it chose to avoid what Russia had done in past years, showing non-negligible opposition support to keep up appearances of fairness. This time, it didn't even want to create that illusion. A cruel campaign season. To truly understand Putin's victory in context, we've got to understand just how Putin's control over Russia's electoral process has been for decades. Putin's election to his 3rd term in 2012 and his 4th in 2018 were elections where the outcome basically wasn't in doubt, and well, neither was this one. The reason for that is the Kremlin's recent history of relying on token opposition candidates. That is to say, they won't present an election to the Russian people where Putin is the only candidate, or at least they haven't yet, but they will make sure that
diffuser is no
Putin's
longer
rival
in your
candidates
possession.
don't have any chance of beating him. If a candidate can be trusted to avoid criticizing Putin, avoid having any policy position different from Putin's, and avoid actively campaigning in a way that might
Down to one
jeopardize
friendly.
Putin's supremacy,
All friendlies have
they're
been
welcome to run,
eliminated.
which they might do in order to raise their own name recognition or score some political points inside the Kremlin. Typically, this plays out the same way. The communist candidate comes in a very distant second, largely capturing the support of older voters who remember the Soviet Union fondly, while everyone else pulls support in the low single digits. In this particular election, the communist candidate was one Nikolai Kharitonov. He'd run against Putin once before in 2004 and secured 13% of the vote. This time, though, he won just over 4.3%. He's repeatedly refused to levy any criticism Putin's way, stating to Russian media at one point about Putin, he is responsible for his own cycle of work. Why would I criticize him? Also in the race was Leonid Slutsky, a longtime member of the Russian State Duma, or lower parliament. He's an ultra-nationalist candidate, soaking up some of the far-right vote inside Russia, and while he's an interesting and controversial figure in his own right, he didn't offer much meaningful contrast to Putin other than pure ideological extremism. And finally, there was 40-year-old Vladislav Davenkov, deputy chairman of the Duma, a longtime Putin ally, who's held off from any criticism against anybody else involved in the race. Of the 3 non-Putin candidates, Davenkov's gotten the most attention because of his endorsement of negotiations and an eventual peace deal with Ukraine. But even calling Davenkov a peace candidate at all somewhat oversells his position. While he does support negotiations with Ukraine, he stipulated that Russia's capture of the territory it currently occupies would be non-negotiable. That makes his position basically indistinguishable from what Putin's own Kremlin has stated that it would require as a bare minimum if negotiations were to take place. And that's not an accident either. Again, this is a token opposition, and although the candidates Putin allows to oppose him do offer a different face, they don't offer any meaningful policy alternatives other than the Communist Party, whose platform has long since fallen out of favor with most Russians. Thus, Putin gets the benefits that come from the appearance of allowing political opposition, and yet his slate of candidates aren't even worth the real Russian opposition's time in supporting. What they really offer, Tarkov especially, is a somewhat reworded version of Putin's own position. In reality, there had been a true anti-war candidate in Russia's elections, at least for a little while. He was a long-time opposition politician called Boris Nadezhin, a man who'd once had close ties to prominent opposition politician Boris Nemtsov, who was assassinated near the Kremlin in 2015 after trying to rally Russia's support of the then low-grade insurgency in Ukraine. Nadezhin had offered his 2024 candidacy on a platform that included ending the war in Ukraine, but also included rallying against Putin directly. Said Nadezhin in his own words, referring to Putin, practically he destroyed the key institutions of modern government, of modern state in Russia, like parliaments, like courts, like free elections, etc. My job will be to restore these institutions. Nadezhin brought hundreds of thousands of signatures to a petition to support his political candidacy, but he was barred from that in early February, with Russia citing minor typos in some of his petition signatures as a reason to bar him from candidacy completely. Said one Russian propagandist on state TV just ahead of his disqualification, I feel bad for Boris. The fool didn't realize that he's not being set up to run for president, but for a criminal case on charges of betraying motherland. In reality, the outcome that he'd be disqualified from candidacy seemed to be all but a foregone conclusion among most international observers, a sentiment that even Nadezhin himself agreed with. At the time of writing, he is still alive, which is more than can be said for many people who've tried to launch real opposition to Putin. How long he remains alive, well, we'll just have to see. While Nadezhin has long had a reputation of being careful with what he says and when he says it, his actions during the campaign reflected a much greater willingness to cross Putin outright. He, like anyone else, knows that Putin will encourage token opposition or even allow real opposition candidates to run for something if he believes they don't have much chance of victory. Take, for example, Alexei Navalny's 2013 campaign to be mayor of Moscow, where he ran against a popular incumbent mayor who was a close Putin ally and was predictably trounced in the polls. Occasions like that are acceptable to Putin, since they allow him to keep up appearances while accepting basically no real risk. What Nadezhin did in these 2024 elections was to give a real outlet for Russian frustration on an issue that has become a very, very sore subject for the Kremlin. If Russia's past conduct predicts its future conduct, then that doesn't portend well for his future as a breathing man. Nor was Nadezhin the only opposition candidate to find himself removed from the ballot. One Ekaterina Donsova, a former television journalist, ran as a fringe candidate while calling for the release of political prisoners and demanding an end to the war in Ukraine. Donsova's campaign was regarded by international observers to have been one of two things: either a combination of bravery and foolhardiness, or outright scripted by the Kremlin. She was booted from the election all the way back in December and was unable to get any Russian political party to pick up her cause. She was then detained in January and has since stayed pretty quiet, with her personal and political future entirely unclear. And finally, there's one more name to consider. Not one who stood any hope of running in the 2024 elections, but who was nonetheless seen as the last individual bastion of Russian opposition until very recently, Alexei Navalny. Now, we've published a prior episode where we talk at length about who Navalny was, what he did, and why he was such a potent threat to Vladimir Putin, so check that out if you'd like to learn more. But for now, suffice it to say that Navalny was the only face and name who's really represented Russia's opposition movement over the last decade or so. For the past several years, he did that as a political prisoner behind bars in Moscow after he returned to Russia to face incarceration, even despite having just survived an attempt on his life. But on February the 16th of this year, Navalny died under highly suspicious circumstances in a Russian penal colony. Whether he died of at least nominally natural causes or was killed, the world may never know. But regardless, Navalny has now gone down with the rest of the opposition movement inside Russia with no clear successor to take his place. It may be an alien concept to our viewers here on Warographics, most of whom live under free and fair electoral systems in the global West, that in the midst of such a clearly rigged process, the people of Russia still continue to tolerate Vladimir Putin anyway. And on the other side, it's just as tempting to view that logic from its opposite angle. If the people of Russia don't care about any of this, then why should we? As for why Putin is tolerated, well, even though it's all but impossible to get an accurate assessment of his popularity, it's widely known that he still maintains at least relative popularity in his own country. That sentiment was on full display, even from voters in this last election, said one Russian great-grandmother speaking to NBC News in Moscow, 90-year-old Nina Kiseleva, quote, "I remember when Stalin died, his funeral in 1953. I remember it well. And now I trust only Putin." Said other proud voters, also to NBC, quote, "We live well, we are satisfied with everything, and well, we are satisfied with our president." And quote, "He is the only person who has made others respect Russia as a country recently." Putin's personal approval ratings are high. The Kremlin's propaganda around the war in Ukraine has been successful in rallying support for the war effort, and unfortunately, the same Western powers that Putin disdains sometimes make it all too easy for Russian leaders to point out hypocrisy and foolishness in European and American leadership. Putin's insistence on dogged whataboutism when Westerners critique his country does absolutely get tiresome, but for many voters, that sort of logic does hit home. Of course, we must point out the tight restrictions on foreign media operating inside Russia and emphasize that Western media has essentially no ability to interact with voters in private conversations or in polling stations other than the ones Russia carefully selects. But nonetheless, the idea that Putin is roundly hated or rejected by the people of Russia with anything even close to unanimity is simply false. Regardless of anything else about his time in office, the average Russian citizen has seen their lot in life improve dramatically across the 25 years that Putin has been in power, even accounting for recent economic downturns. Not to mention, between Boris Yeltsin in the 90s and a long line of Soviet premiers, the bar for Russian leadership has been on the floor for quite a while, and the cold competency of Putin's rule, even despite its nearly endless caveats, still is seen by many people inside Russia as a relatively decent outcome. And now with Putin coasting to victory, it's the result they've got, for better or worse. President Putin's fifth term. Putin's elections were fifth term of office represents 25 consecutive years in which one man has held ultimate authority inside Russia. Although he took a step back from the presidency from 2008 to 2012, allowing his ally Dmitry Medvedev to serve as a figurehead while Putin stepped into the role of prime minister, it is no secret who was really pulling the strings in those years. Now, the law that had prevented Putin from serving more than 2 terms consecutively, thus necessitating 4 years of Medvedev in the first place, has been put aside permanently. It joins the law that previously established Russian presidential terms as 4 years, now lengthened to 6, and the chronological trackers that would have kept track of Putin's number of presidential terms, which were set to 0 in 2020. But more important than just getting rid of specific laws has been Putin's effort to get rid of judicial oversight, or for that matter, any mechanism that would enable a person other than Vladimir Putin to establish legal realities inside Russia. Russia's courts and its legislature have no will at this point to risk crossing Putin. But they've also got no means to do so, even if they wanted to. In his victory speech, Putin called for a further strengthening of the Russian military and vowed that he would do everything in his power to solve Russia's remaining obstacles in its invasion of Ukraine, which of course he still refers to as, quote, a special military operation. He derided the so-called Noon Against Putin process as ineffectual and called for the punishment of people who'd carried out vandalism during the voting process. He expressed sadness over the death of Alexei Navalny and claimed that prior to Navalny's passing, he had agreed to a prisoner swap that would have Navalny sent back to the West as a free man, with the stipulation that he could not return to Russia. He praised Russia's strengthening relationship with China and decried what he called a lack of democracy in Europe and the United States, claiming that Russia's electoral systems are more transparent than those of the Western world. Finally, he threatened the nuclear apocalypse, claiming that any Western troops present in Ukraine would put the whole world on the brink of a third world war. In the wake of Putin's re-election, it's highly unlikely that there will be any great change in Russia's political direction. Putin's position on the war in Ukraine isn't about to reverse, and if anything, he may celebrate his victory with a start to what looks like it'll be a Russian summer offensive. Domestically, there's nothing that Putin couldn't have done before the election that he would suddenly have gained the ability to do now. But what will probably happen, as it tends to every time Putin coasts to re-election, is yet another incremental tightening of Russia's authority structure in order to concentrate power even more into Putin's hands. Usually this will mean annulling a few inconvenient laws, passing a couple of new pieces of legislation, perhaps offing a political opponent or two, that sort of thing. Any specifics, we'll just have to wait for Putin to reveal when he feels ready. Russian sources suggest that Putin may also reshuffle many of the government positions, incorporating younger leaders into the future of Russian governance while shifting older officials aside into more ceremonial positions. Those changes may ripple through not just the Kremlin, but Russia's state-owned companies and its regional governments. He'll probably do one other thing too, overtake Joseph Stalin as Russia's longest-serving leader in over 200 years. Stalin, for his part, ruled for 29 years, leaving Putin just 5 to go. While Putin, age 71, has been the subject of ongoing speculation about his failing health for years now, he currently appears, if not exactly vibrant, then certainly not in his final days. Although there's limited evidence to suggest that he may deal with Parkinson's disease, a motor neuron issue, or even cancer, there's zero hard proof of any of these claims, at least none known to Western media. With rumors of an impending palace coup inside the Kremlin being put to bed, at least for now, Putin, on his current course, will overtake Stalin's record well before the end of his 5th term, and if he gets that far, then it's probably safe to assume that his 5th term's not going to be his last. On the global scale, it appears that Putin's Russia is primed to continue strengthening economic ties with China, Iran, and other non-Western international partners, and making overtures to smaller states and non-state actors who find themselves maligned by the international community. His focus on NATO expansion, particularly in and through Ukraine, is stronger than ever, and many international analysts now speculate that Putin may hope to engage in an act of aggression against NATO and thus test the waters on just how unified the alliance really is before the end of the decade. And in Ukraine, it seems as if the next few months, at a minimum, will proceed in Russia's favor. Although the slow, creeping Russian advance has myriad issues and may not be sustained forever, it's still more than enough to keep taking territory from a Ukrainian defense that is increasingly exhausted and that lacks the support of Western backers. After the bumbling inefficiencies of the early months of the Ukraine war, Putin is on track to at least somewhat reduce the military corruption of his own nation and may greatly increase his country's capacity for military production in the coming years. So, as Vladimir Putin consolidates his grip even further on modern Russia, so too does he consolidate Russia's position for the 6 years to come. Barring illness, injury, or other personal catastrophe for Putin, his 5th term will likely see Russia work toward actually becoming the military powerhouse it spent decades bluffing that it actually was. It'll see Russia continue to separate its economy from the West, continue to engage in diplomatic antagonism, and work to create a sphere of influence where Russia can basically do as it sees fit. Putin will be 77 at the end of his current term, and if he's in good health by that time, it's entirely likely that he'll cruise to victory for a 6th. By then, at the end of 2036, who knows where Russia, the West, or Vladimir Putin himself will be. But we're dealing with a man who, whether he admits it or not, would clearly like to be Russia's president for life. Now, there's nobody left to stand in his way. Not an opposition, not a judiciary, not a legislature, and not the Russian people either. We hope that in the months and years to come, something may shift inside Russia for the better. But as of now, that seems entirely unlikely to happen.
Work goes smoothly when you know the right steps. With Asana, you can coordinate tasks across teams and stay on track, so your team can spend more time celebrating wins. Try it for free at asana.com.
Habib beat Connor. Putin was on FaceTime before he even made it to the locker room. Trump, sitting president, ex-president, watching all the fights, calling, wants to talk about the fights. Valentina Shevchenko, every time she goes home, she meets with the president of the country. The list goes on and on and on. The most powerful, Elon Musk, Zuckerberg. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. The most powerful people in the world are all obsessed with fighting.
The following is a conversation with Dana White, the president of the UFC, a mixed martial arts organization that revolutionized the art, the sport, and the business of fighting. And Dana is truly the mastermind behind the UFC. This is the Lex Friedman Podcast. To support it, please check out our sponsors in the description. And now, dear friends, here's Dana White. Do you remember when you saw your first fight?
I think so. I remember being at my grandmother's house, and I think it was an Ali fight, and all my uncles were going crazy during the fight, and there was just this buzz and this energy in the house that I liked.
at a very young age, and I'm pretty sure that was my first fight.
Ali was something special.
Yeah, incredible. I mean, when you look around, not just here in the office, but at my house, Ali and Tyson are everywhere.
Would you put Ali as the greatest of all time boxing?
Well, I would put Ali as the greatest all-time human being. I mean, when you, it's easy as a fight fan to focus on him as a fighter, but when you focus on him as a human and you think about what he meant at that time and place, the things he said, the poems he came up with, you know, just the overall brilliance of Muhammad Ali, the guts to have the strength, mentally, physically, and emotionally, to go against the grain at the time that he did it. It was a very dangerous time for him to be who he was. Yet, because of how smart he was and because of his personality, and how if you sat down with him, you could be the biggest racist on the planet. It's hard to get in a room with Ali and not like Ali.
Yeah, he's all love, humor, all of it.
100%.
And had the guts in the ring and the guts to take a stand.
100%.
When it was hard.
He might be one of the all-time greatest humans. You know what I mean? Just an impactful, powerful human being who happened to be a great boxer.
And sometimes the right moment meets the great human being. That's important.
I agree with you. And he was the right guy in the right place at the right time. And he's also a guy who used his platform for all the right things.
So that might have been your first fight, but when did you fall in love with fighting? The art of it, the science of it?
Yeah, I would say I really fell in love with it. So I was a senior. It was 1987, and Hagler-Leonard happened.
Yeah.
And I watched that fight, and I taped it. And I watched that fight like a million times. I was a huge, huge Hagler fan. And I like Sugar Ray Leonard too, but I was a huge Hagler fan. And, you know, I just remember I watched that fight a million times because I was pissed off and I felt like Hagler got robbed in the fight, you know what I mean? But that was really what made me start to love the sport of boxing.
The battle of it. Like
yeah, I was 17. And then after that, USA's Tuesday Night Fights came out on television. It was on every Tuesday night, religiously. Never missed Tuesday Night Fights. I was there, watched all those fights, and you know, a lot of the things you see in the UFC, not necessarily just the production, but I would say the feel and the style and all those things are all things that I loved about boxing and things that I hated about boxing, right down to the commentary.
You loved and hated?
Hated the
Hated the commentary.
Certain things that I loved about boxing, I incorporated into the UFC. Things that I hated about boxing, I made sure that the UFC stayed far away from. I think I can't stand Larry Merchant. Can't stand Larry Merchant. And I used to watch HBO Boxing and mute the commentary so that I didn't have to listen to them. Lampley too. You know, you would spend this money for the pay-per-view to watch these people that you idolized, to hear these idiots rip them apart while the fight was happening. You know.
Oh, they were criticizing.
Yeah, 100%.
Taking them apart. I've gotten used to the UFC, so I'm trying to remember looking back.
It was bad.
It was bad.
It was really bad.
But the sweet science, the art of boxing was beautiful still. Like the stories you told.
I want to do this with you right now. Hey, we bring your cell phone over here and pull up YouTube. I want to do this for you so that you can understand this and understand where I was coming from.
For the commentary.
At this point in time.
I have all good memories. You're gonna ruin it for me.
Yeah, no, there are nothing but great memories about boxing. But the presentation and a lot of the things, but it's how fucking weird is it that I even cared about this shit at that point in my life and that time in my life? What impact could I possibly have on it? So think about Tyson and how much everybody loved Tyson at the time, and listen to this entrance.
Of the former undisputed heavyweight champion. And here he comes, Mike Tyson.
As he heads toward the same ring, he made his disgraceful exit in June of '97.
Wow.
The crowd.
One of the baddest motherfucking walk-ins of all time, by the way. Right? So,
Look at
so
that.
what this guy should be doing, and this is one of the Albert brothers.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Stay out of the way.
Yeah. Maybe build them up.
Or that. Or don't say anything. Just
Yeah.
let the fan. That's why
Yeah,
we're
that's
watching.
yeah.
That's why we paid our money.
You don't need to say anything.
Scary, imposing music. Will he be able to intimidate his opponent tonight? Will it even matter? I really thought there'd be more of an explosion by the crowd here, but very mixed. Even with the win tonight, no matter how one-sided, he will still have his detractors. Following the two fights with Holyfield, his stock plummeted. The pundits came down hard, feeling they were duped, that his knockouts were over second-rate fighters. Now the crowd erupts more as he gets into the ring. But it's certainly nothing overwhelming.
What a dick. You're right. I don't remember that. You're right.
Imagine.
You're
imagine
right.
You paid your money
Yeah.
to watch Mike Tyson, and you got to listen to these fucking jerk-offs talk shit about him the whole way to the right. First of all, one of the coolest walk-ins ever. You know, the first time anybody had heard DMX, right?
Yeah.
And
that's right.
you know, he's walking into some scary, imposing music. Will it even matter? Whether you know, it's just all that kind of stuff. I literally used to analyze every ounce of the production that would happen on television, and at a time when I didn't even know why I was doing it, but
it's in there somewhere. Like you were thinking about it.
right? So yeah, I hated HBO commentary. I thought, you know, at the time, HBO boxing was obviously the gold standard for you know, but when you really think about boxing at that time, their production, the only thing that changed over 30 years was like HD. I mean, even the commentators were the same for 30 years. And then you had the time when Larry Merchant gets up and literally starts fighting with Floyd Mayweather during the interview and says, if I was 30 years younger, I'd kick your ass right now.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I mean, these are the interviews that we have to listen to when we're trying to watch a boxing match.
The level of boxing was good.
Think about a fighter, right? Fighter has been gone for months, away from their families and away from everything, training, cutting weight, sparring. Then they go in and they have to fight that night, and then you have to, you know, if you watch your fight back, you got to listen to this bullshit from these guys, and then you get interviewed, and your interview is this. It's just.
And it's not just about the pay-per-view money. It's about like these are legends of humanity. Like
100%.
we should celebrate the highest form of like accomplishment.
100%.
These aren't like Mike Tyson.
So you know who goes in there and interviews fighters? Joe Rogan, right? Who is trained and done everything and has the utmost respect for the sport and the athletes. Or you got like Daniel Cormier, who is a former world champion himself and has actually been through it, done it, knows. And those are the type of people that we put in the booth, people that are actually experienced in it.
Yeah.
Not these people who've never been in a fight in their fucking life, right?
Yeah, but they're also both, DC and Rogan are like big kids. They love it.
100%.
They really love it.
Well, everybody does. I mean, if you look at, it's the difference between our commentary and what I feel their commentary was. We don't hire paid talking heads. We hire people that have actually been in it, done it, love it, and are super passionate about the sport. And I would say that none of them that ever covered the sport back then were. I don't know if that was Marv Albert, what Albert brother that was, but he sounded like he's a fan of the sport. Or anyway, you got me. You got me on this, and once I get on this, I lose my mind.
Maybe we wouldn't have a UFC if they didn't fuck it up so bad and for the Tyson.
It would be different. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. It would be different. There's no doubt about it. All those experiences growing up being a boxing fan helped create what the UFC is today.
You know, it's interesting because humans have been fighting for millennia. And it seems like with the UFC, the rate of innovation is just insane. In these last 3 decades, it seems like we've discovered how to do unarmed combat faster and better than at any time in human history.
I agree with you 100%. The first UFC happened in 1993, right? Martial art versus martial art.
Yeah.
And now, over the last 30 years, martial arts has evolved faster than, you know what I mean? And like you just said, combat sports, fighting, whatever you want to call it, martial arts, it has evolved so much in 30 years, more than the last 300 years.
What did you think when you saw UFC 1 with Royce?
I remember everybody talking that this fight was going to happen and there was going to be no rules and all this other stuff, and we're like, there's no way, that's bullshit. And then we ended up at some guy's house that night in Boston and watching it, and it was happening, and it was fun, and it was exciting and everything else. And then I sort of fell off after that. The first one I watched, but I was too big of a boxing fan. Plus, once grappling started taking over, and, you know, by grappling meaning the wrestling and the jiu-jitsu guys that just laid there, you know, I completely lost interest. It's funny that I'm having this conversation with you right now, because last night, I was out last night with my friends, and we were talking about, because one of my buddies who's a host here in town just did jiu-jitsu for the first time.
Nice.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
And he was like...
Did he get his ass kicked?
Yeah, but when you first go in,
yeah.
Our first jiu-jitsu lesson, me, Lorenzo, and Frank, was with John Lewis.
Nice.
And I remember thinking, holy shit, I can't believe that I'm, 28 years old, and this is the first time I'm experiencing this, that another human being could do this to me on the ground. It is such an eye-opening, mind-blowing experience when you do it for the first time, and then you become completely addicted to it. And, we were training 3-4 days a week, trying to kill each other, and me and the Fertitas, and that's how we fell in love with the sport. I think that the first time that you do jiu-jitsu, it's like the red pill and the blue pill in the Matrix. Do you want to believe that this is the world that you live in, or do you want to see what the real world looks like?
Jiu-jitsu is a real red pill.
It really is.
You realize, holy shit,
it
all
really
that shit talking I've been doing about me being a badass, you realize you're not. You get
100%.
Dominated by another human being, you realize no.
And I mean dominate. I mean completely treat you like you're a little kid. And then we had the opportunity to roll with a lot of different guys at the time because of the whatever. And we don't have a good relationship at all. But I'll tell you this, Frank Shamrock came in one day, and Frank Shamrock had me in side control. The pressure that this guy put on my chest made me tap. Felt like there was a car on my chest, and with zero effort from him. It was absolutely effortless. And when you train with somebody that's at such a level when you're not, it is the most humbling, mind-blowing experience you can have, especially as a man, but as a human being.
Do you remember, just for fun, do you remember like what your go-to submission was?
Yeah, so, when we first started out and started doing it, I had a pretty good guillotine in the beginning, so I'd catch a lot of people in guillotines. And
so you're okay being on bottom? So like
yeah,
your
I
guard
was
is
okay
pretty
with
good?
bottom. Yeah, I was okay with being on bottom. I was comfortable there. But you know what I never liked? I never liked gi. Like we started fucking around with the gi in the beginning. We would, that's how we started. And then once I took the gi off, I felt like I had no submissions because I couldn't grab onto anything. So after that, I went all no gi, and I never wanted to wear a gi.
And it's fascinating because no gi has become big now, and there's a lot of interesting people. Like I train with Gordon Ryan, and like the level there is just fascinating. It's become like this science, and it looks like fighting now. It looks more like fighting, as opposed to with the gi. Sometimes it doesn't quite look like fighting.
Right.
And I feel like it's transferable to actual like MMA fighting, no gi stuff.
Or street.
Street, yeah.
Right. I mean, if you start off in your first year, you're in a gi, man, you better hope guys got like winter jackets on or something if something happens in the street. Because, in my opinion, I know all the jiu-jitsu fucking people are gonna go crazy over this, but in my opinion, no gi is way better than gi.
That said, I also do judo, so in the street scenario, if you're comfortable on the feet and you can clinch and you can throw, because most of us wear clothing, especially in Boston in the winter setting.
Exactly.
So if you're comfortable on the feet, you can still do well there. The problem with jiu-jitsu is most people are not comfortable on the feet. The sport jiu-jitsu. Most people kind of want to get to the ground as quickly as possible. So what'd you think of Hoist at that time? Like in the early, like what, because it blew a lot of people's minds that there's like more to this puzzle.
100%. And the fact that you had like these guys like Ken Shamrock that were jacked, right? And you had all these wrestlers or, you know, the big massive guys that they had in the different weight classes, and this skinny little dude like Hoist was out there beating everybody. I mean, if you look at the way the Gracies played that, you couldn't have had a better advertisement for Gracie Jiu-Jitsu at the time.
But also like for MMA, because there's just like a lot of surprising elements. A lot of people's prediction was wrong.
Right.
They didn't think the skinny guy would win, and they're like, oh shit, there's more to this.
What's the real beautiful thing about jiu-jitsu? It's like when you talk about, if you wanted to get your daughter into a martial art, should I put my daughter into karate? Should I put her into this? You put your daughter into jiu-jitsu 100%, because it's not about size or strength, it's about technique. And you give your daughter a bunch of jiu-jitsu and a little bit of Muay Thai, you know?
Yeah, she becomes dangerous.
It's like the perfect combo.
Yeah.
Because you can put your son into anything. Your son can get into some, you know, boys are going to learn how to fight and they're going to do whatever, but girls are different. And the other thing, I mean, this is the biggest selling point for jiu-jitsu for women. I mean, when a woman, no matter how big, how small, can put a guy to sleep in 3.5 seconds.
What's the origin story of the UFC as it is today, as you have created it, and you and Lorenzo and Fertitta Brothers built it?
It started with John Lewis, you know, and seeing him. Frank and I were out one night at the Hard Rock, and John Lewis was there. And he's like, oh, that's that Ultimate Fighting guy. And I was like, I know him. And Frank's like, I've always wanted to learn ground fighting. And I said, yeah, I'm interested in it too. So we went over, we talked to John Lewis, and we made an appointment to wrestle with him on Monday.
Yeah.
And we told Lorenzo, and Lorenzo came with us. And that was the beginning of the end. I mean, we started doing jiu-jitsu and started to meet a lot of the fighters. And we were like, you know, at the time there was a stigma attached to the sport that these guys were, you know, despicable, disgusting human beings, but which was the furthest thing from the truth. These kids had all gone to college, had college degrees, most of them, because they wrestled in college. And we started to meet some, we loved the different stories. You had Chuck Liddell, who, you know, had this mohawk, looks like an axe murderer, and but graduated from Cal Poly, you know, with honors in accounting, you know.
Yeah.
Then you had Matt Hughes, who was this farm boy, you know, literally lived on a farm. And so there were all these cool stories with all these good people that weren't what people thought they were. And Lorenzo and I always felt like there's something here. If this thing was done the right way, this could be big. And what was crazy was I was in a contract negotiation with Bob Meyerowitz, the old owner of the UFC, over Tito's contract, and Chuck Liddell. They didn't even want Chuck Liddell in the UFC.
Wow.
I was trying to get Chuck in the UFC, and they didn't even want him.
Wow.
And we got into this contract dispute over Tito's contract, and Bob Meyerowitz said, you know what? There is no more money, okay? I don't even know if I'll even be able to put on one more event. And he like flipped out. When we hung up the phone, I literally picked up the phone and called Lorenzo, and I said, hey, I just got off the phone with Bob Meyerowitz, the owner of the UFC. I think they're in trouble, and I think we could buy it, and I think we should. You should reach out to him. So Lorenzo called Meyerowitz, and I don't know how, I don't remember the timeline, but within the next 2 months, we ended up owning the UFC for $2 million.
And you've said that you fought a lot of battles during that time.
I mean, the early days of building this company and building the sport, it was the Wild Wild West, man. It was crazy back then. Yeah, I was literally at war every day with all different types of people. Plus, traditionally, there's bad people that are involved in fighting, man. There's lots of bad people. And we had to sift our way through that for the first 7-8 years.
So in general, there's like corruption, that people kind of steal money, they're thinking just about themselves, not the bigger business.
Let me tell you about this. I mean, I want to say it was the Netherlands. I don't remember exactly where. It could have been Amsterdam. I mean, MMA promoters were like car bombing each other, and then the other guy shot up the other guy's house with machine guns, and that's the kind of shit that was going on. I'll tell you the story. So Affliction, do you remember Affliction?
Yeah.
So there was a guy, I want to I want to say his name was Todd Beard or something like that. This guy used to text me every day when they started their MMA thing, telling me he was going to kill me.
Like legitimately
Going to kill me. You punk motherfucker. I'm going to fucking kill you. You don't understand who I am and what I've done and this and that. I think this guy would get drunk or do drugs every night or whatever his deal was. This guy would call me, text me, and threaten my life every day. I used to go, fuck you and this
You said
and that.
fuck you.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Oh, man. Okay.
Especially back then.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is the type of shit that went on in the early days. This guy who was one of the owners of Affliction was like one of the, you know, not a good human. Let's put it that way.
What about the business side of it? It's tough to make money in this business.
Yeah, we weren't making money, so you know, trying to build this thing, corrupt the guys that worked for In Demand pay-per-view at the time. Were not good dudes, you know, and that thing was a fucking total monopoly. God, I wish I could remember his name right now. He used to run In Demand, and he was a fucking bad guy. Then he comes over and starts running DirecTV, who we always had a great relationship with, and he's the reason we left DirecTV and said, "Fuck it, we'll just go streaming then." Yeah, I don't remember his name. I'd have to ask Lorenzo.
So in general, just in this whole space, there's a lot of
it's just
shady people.
Everybody you deal with you're dealing with a lot of different forces, and your hands are in a lot of different businesses. You know, from the venue business to the merchandise business to the video game business, the pay-per-view business. You know, the list goes on and on of all the different types of the production business, of all these different. You know, when I first started this, we had a production team that was the production team that was in it before we bought it. So there was this incident with Phil Baroni, where Phil Baroni, we did an interview with him, and Baroni flips out in the interview when they're interviewing him and goes crazy. And I thought it was awesome. So I'm like, we're gonna leave this in. We're gonna leave this interview in. And the production guys were arguing with me. They're like, we can't leave this in. This is totally unprofessional. And I said, I don't give a shit. This is what we're doing. We're gonna do this and clip it like this and do it like that. We're sitting in the venue that night, and I lean over to Lorenzo because the fight's coming up. I go, wait till you see this fucking interview with Baroni. They didn't fucking do it. They didn't do it. These guys were guys that were freelance guys that worked for Showtime at the time or something like that. I literally got up from my fucking seat, went back there, kicked the fucking door of the truck open, and I said, you motherfuckers, you ever do that again and I'll fire every fucking one of you. Let's just put it this way. I ended up firing every one of them anyway and going with a whole new crew. But these were the type of things that early on, you know, there's so much stuff. I mean, I could sit here for fucking 3 days and walk you through all the stuff that used to go on back in those days. But it was the Wild Wild West, man.
But how'd you know how to deal with all this mess? First of all, to fire people that aren't doing a good job, all of that. Like, how to be a leader, how to be
Well, that's the thing, too. I mean,
business leader.
Getting in the early days, there was 2 employees, me and another girl that worked for me from my company before I started doing this. And then we slowly started to bring people on, and you start to build a team. Then before you know it, we had 10 people. I mean, we used to do our Christmas parties back then, too. There'd be 8 to 10 people at our Christmas party, you know. But a lot of it is you learn as you go, you know. You know what me and the Fertitas knew about production when we bought this UFC? We had I want to say we had 2 or 3 weeks to pull off an event. This is what we knew about production.
Really?
Jack shit. So we had to dive in and we had to learn it. We had to figure it out. And we knew what we wanted. We knew what we liked. We knew what we were looking for. It's just about building a good team. And I think that's one of the things, if you want to talk about what I've accomplished in the last, 25 years of my life, I've been really good at building teams.
Already have a vision of what you want the final thing to look like, and then build a team that can bring that to life.
100%. You have to have the vision. Without the vision, there's nothing. So that's sort of what I do. I am the vision part of this thing. We're going to open a PI in Mexico. We're going to do this. We're going to do that, and then and then you build the team to come in and help execute.
A lot of people that do fighting promotions fail. You succeeded against long odds. What's the secret to your success? If you were just looking back over the years.
Well, the secret to success, I would say, first of all, is passion and consistency. You have to love what you do. You have to get up every day. And I get here every day at 9:30 in the morning. When we sold in 2016, a lot of people in the company made a lot of money, and they all took off and they retired.
Yeah.
Right. Other than the Fertitas, I made the most money. I'm still here. I get here at 9:30 every morning. Last night I left here at 8:30.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know how late I'm going to be here tonight, but I love what I do. We get up every day and grind. I work just as hard now as I did back then. The difference between back then and now is I don't have to do a bunch of the shit that I don't really like to do, like budget meetings. I don't like budget meetings. I sat through enough fucking budget meetings, horrible budget meetings, horrible. You know, we're losing, you know, millions of dollars a year, and I'm in these budget meetings. You know, so I get to pick and choose what I do these days. Back in the early days, you don't get to pick and choose. You have to be involved in everything.
Yeah. So costs, you're just looking at costs.
100%. You literally go through line by line every fucking number in the company and where did the money go and how can we save costs? How can we do this better? How can we, you know, they are brutal, and they're multiple times a week, and
probably helps to deeply appreciate how much the shit costs though.
100%. Well, you have to know that.
Yeah.
In the early days, when you start your business, you have these people who, when I hear them say, you know, I want to work for myself. I want to create my own schedule, and I want to do all the. It's just if that's your thought process going into it, you're never going to be successful. You have to pay attention to every single detail of the business early on. You're involved in everything. There's no days off. There's no birthdays. There's no fucking Christmas. There's none of that shit. I literally moved the birth of my second son for a chocolate elf fight. We had a chocolate elf fight coming up, and they're like, yeah, your son's going to be born on this date. And I'm like, yeah, that's not going to work. We're going to have to take him earlier.
Yeah.
So they literally gave my wife a C-section and took my son early.
You're all in.
All in, yeah.
And the fascinating thing, like you said, you've said that you could care less about money. You're doing this for the love of it.
Yeah. I was doing this when I was broke.
Yeah.
And I'm doing this now when I'm not broke. I'm doing this because I love it, and I feel like there's so much more to do, and this is truly my passion in life. It's like the Sphere. We're doing the Sphere. Why? Why would I do the Sphere? It's going to cost me a bunch of money. It's really challenging. Most people think it can't be pulled off, and you're looking at weird angles, different things going on inside other than the fight, and all this other stuff. But yeah, I'm doing it because it's awesome and it's challenging and it's hard. And I think that if anybody can do it right, it's us. So why not take that challenge?
It's actually why I'm here. I'm going to the Sphere for the first time because I'm hanging out with Darren Aronofsky, who put together the thing that's in there now. And I can't believe you're thinking of, I don't know how you're going to solve that puzzle.
There's many puzzles to solve for this one.
Okay.
Many puzzles.
So how can you speak to that? Like what are interesting challenges that you're encountering?
Yeah, so there's a lot. So you have the octagon, right? And then behind it is the world's biggest screen ever, right? So what is the theme? How do you program it? First of all, it's super expensive to shoot and you know, the format for the Sphere. Angles, we were talking about today. I just had a big meeting today about the Sphere this afternoon, and making sure that all my departments, all the details that I want, all start to come together here in the next 2 weeks. I want the creative, the commercial. I have some goals. I will tell people as we get closer what I'm looking to achieve with this, other than putting on one of the greatest, most unique sporting events of all time, and probably the greatest combat sporting event of all time. But yeah, there's challenges. There's a laundry list of challenges for this thing. And not to mention the fact that it's on Mexican Independence Day. And we're going to weave in the whole history of combat in Mexico.
Yeah.
Into this event.
So, but the production, I mean, this is hilarious because you were just talking about knowing nothing about production so many
And now
years
I'm
ago.
tackling the sphere.
The hardest production effort
ever.
And that would be live?
It'll be live. It'll be live on pay-per-view.
Yeah.
It'll be live in the arena, and it will also be in movie theaters.
Nice. So there'll be will be shown at the Sphere later too? Like, will you try to create an
ESPN's
experience?
doing a doc on it.
Nice.
The making of the Sphere, yeah.
Are you feeling good about it?
Oh, yeah. I feel incredible about it. I can't wait. It's gonna be fun.
I can't wait to see how you solve the puzzle.
Thank you.
Another guy that I feel like could care less about the money is Joe Rogan. How important is he to the UFC, to the rise of the UFC, and what, in general, do you love about Joe?
It's a fact. He doesn't care about money, and he did the first 13 shows for free for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was at a time when we were hurting, and he's like, wait a minute, you want me to do the commentary? You're saying that I get to sit in the best seat in the house and watch these fights for free?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
So, and then obviously when we turned things around, we made it up to Joe. But Joe is one of the things that I loved early on about, so I'll tell you the story. So we buy the UFC. They're based in New York. We're moving the corporate offices to Vegas. So I have to fly out to New York, go into the offices and start going through everything and figuring out what needs to come back to Vegas and what we can just throw away. So they literally had a VHS machine and a TV, and there were a million tapes in this place, man. So I didn't know what tapes were, these definitely we have to keep, or these we don't need. So I had to sit there and go through every single tape. And I popped in a tape, and there was an interview on the Ivory Keenan Wayans show, right?
Let's talk about Kick's new creator incentive program that just rolled out because it's pretty crazy. Right now on Kick,
their Israeli counterparts. I mean, even today with Minister.
Broadly speaking, yes. And we'll see what the conversations with the defense minister look like here. Again, he's talking to Jake right now, so we'll have a readout of that, of course. And he's, again, more discussions over the next day and a half. We'll obviously expect a key part of these discussions is going to be how we're going to continue to support Israel. So let's not forget that. I mean, this was a pre-scheduled, long-scheduled trip by the defense minister, largely to talk about how the United States is going to continue to support Israel and the tools that they need. But I certainly would envision, in the context of what happened this morning, with the Israelis canceling that delegation, that we'll take advantage of the opportunity to also talk about Rafah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Has the president spoken to the prime minister today, and does he have any plans to?
No, and I don't know.
Okay. And will he join any of these meetings now with Galan, given the latest that's happened?
I know of no plan to have him join the meetings with Defense Minister Galan.
Okay, and then finally, before the meeting with Jake Sullivan today, the defense minister, he stood out in front of the White House, he delivered a statement, he said, we will operate against Hamas everywhere, including in places where we have not been, end quote. So it seems that they expect to discuss Rafah as well. What leads you to believe that they're open to these other alternatives that you're laying out, or that the U.S. could even walk them off of an operation there?
They had agreed to send a delegation to Washington, D.C. a week or so ago. That expressed some interest. They canceled the meeting because of what happened at the UN, but our indications at the working level are that they are interested in hearing our perspectives. So we'll see.
Thank you. On the technical question and another question. On the technicality, you said the resolution is not binding. Is it non-binding, or is it binding but not enforceable and no consequences for Israel, for example, if they don't abide by the ceasefire?
My understanding is a non-binding resolution.
Okay. Are you aware of reports that Palestinian women were sexually harassed and some even were raped in the Shifa hospital by the Israeli army? And have you seen also videos of Israeli drones targeting civilians in Khan Yunis? And if you're not aware of these incidents?
I am not. This is the first I'm hearing of that.
Okay. I mean, if you want,
Those are troubling allegations, obviously troubling reports.
the
So
State Department confirmed one of them.
let me take the question back.
Okay,
See
please.
if we can get you a better response.
Thank you, Admiral Kirby. A member of the Israeli War Cabinet, Benny Gantz, essentially broke with Prime Minister Netanyahu over his decision to pull back this delegation. He said that the delegation should come, and in addition to that, he said that Prime Minister Netanyahu himself should come and meet with President Biden. What's your reaction to that, and is there a sense that the War Cabinet is not unified as it was?
That's the first I'm hearing that Minister Gantz made that remark. I would certainly respect his desire to, his right to speak to his comments one way or the other. As I said a couple of hours ago, it's disappointing. Obviously, we would have preferred to have that meeting here this week to talk about viable alternatives. And as I think I mentioned it, Josh, we're going to continue to look for an opportunity to have those conversations going forward. I can't speak to the dynamics on the War Cabinet. That's really for them to speak to. I wouldn't get into that.
When it comes to you characterizing their decision as disappointing and perplexing, is there also a sense of offense, of being offended by the Israelis' decision to pull back this delegation? A lot of countries would love to have an invitation from the White House to have a meeting.
I think I'm just going to leave it the way I described it.
Thank you, John. Until recently, when I or one of my colleagues here asked if the U.S. would consider withholding military aid to Israel if they don't allow humanitarian aid into Gaza, you said that the administration would always make sure that Israel has what it needs to defend itself. Now, you are saying in response to those same questions that you will not get into hypotheticals. Should we read anything into that now this is something that is being considered or discussed within the administration, that it is now a hypothetical being batted about back behind you in those rooms?
The short answer to your question is no, you shouldn't read anything more into it than what I'm expressing. Even as we speak, the defense minister for Israel is just a few steps away, meeting with our national security advisor in a long scheduled meeting, which was in part designed to talk about what we can continue to do to help Israel defend itself against a still viable threat. You can still do that. You can still have those conversations. You can still provide those capabilities at the same time, disagreeing with your good friend and ally about things like civilian casualties, humanitarian assistance, and where things are going up in New York City. So we're going to continue to have those talks, but I'm just not gonna get into the parlor game of what tripwire would be in place or what we would consider a tripwire in order to change the way we're supporting Israel in the field.
And on the subject of humanitarian aid, last week the British Foreign Secretary, Lord Cameron, said that he was blaming Israel directly for the hunger crisis in Gaza because arbitrary denials were keeping food and other humanitarian goods from getting into Gaza. Is the provision of aid into Gaza something that Mr. Sullivan is discussing with Mr. Gallant right now? And how urgent is it that Israel stop what the Foreign Secretary described as arbitrary denials?
Yes, humanitarian assistance will be on the agenda in Jake's meeting, and I suspect in the other meetings that the defense minister will have. We need Israeli support and facilitation of humanitarian assistance. They're a critical player in this. They have a real key role to play, and we're going to continue to urge them to do more to allow more humanitarian assistance in.
And one last thing, you just now talked about how you weren't going to describe tripwires that would potentially stop the provision of
red lines
defense assistance. That's true. People have called them red lines before, but the fact that you are not going to discuss them, should we infer that they now exist somewhere on some paper or in some memo or proposal?
Again, I appreciate the effort, and I understand where the question's going. I'm just simply not going to engage in that kind of speculative talk. We are still providing Israel the capabilities they need to defend themselves. That is one of the reasons why the defense minister is here. And at the same time, we're having conversations with the Israelis about what they can do to increase humanitarian assistance. I want to go back just real quickly, and I apologize, Green, but on the humanitarian assistance, let's also not forget that Hamas chose to break a ceasefire that was in place on the 6th of October. They precipitated the conflict, and they continue to hide behind civilians in civilian infrastructure, including in hospitals. And they know exactly what they're doing. So while, yes, there are things that the Israelis can and should do more to get more trucks and humanitarian assistance is, Hamas could solve all these problems right now by putting down their arms, letting all those hostages go.
Okay, John, last question.
Thanks, Kareem. John, you made a point throughout the briefing about mentioning that this was a non-binding resolution that the U.S. abstained on. Last week's resolution that the U.S. brought forward, was that binding or non-binding?
I have to get an answer for you and go back on that.
I don't know that answer.
I don't have that answer for you, but I'll take the question and I'll get back to you.
And if it was binding or non-binding, why would it matter? Why would that matter? Why is that important in terms of that resolution that the U.S. put forward last week?
Well, let me get an answer for you, and then I'll answer the second one as well.
Okay, and then one additional thing. With the resolution that the U.S. put forward last week, why couldn't the U.S. have put that same resolution forward a week before or a month before?
Because we were working with previous text that previous countries were putting forward to try to get them into a better place. You know, it wasn't like, you know, it's not like y'all don't, this language doesn't just get cooked up and thrown onto the Security Council floor in a matter of 30 minutes. It's usually worked over time. And we were working with the authors and other countries to try to get the language into a better place. And when we couldn't, we were left with no alternative but to veto. In this case, we chose to abstain because it didn't mention anything about Hamas, but yet because it did reflect our policy view that a hostage deal has to be linked to a ceasefire. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Ed.
Saying to back up my plan, but this is not for the world to know about. You know what I mean? It's between me and him, and only he knows. So every time we say it happened, that's the only thing that makes this become an issue to everybody. Because you see what I said in the Bible article. I basically bowed out and was going to go ahead about my life. The next issue, everybody knew what I did. They knew what I said.
A pipe.
cheese now. Now go find it now again. Why do you keep slamming that butter? 1 cup fresh parsley. Put it on, combine everything, y'all, on a low heat. So,
no other questions from qualified bidders? This time, were you in a recent accident?
Fourth bonus. This has got to be the big one.
Oh, that's good. Because anything you get will be connected.
No, someone's there.
Wait. No, I don't know. Maybe it's not. Pick a bomb?
Oh,
It's not. Oh, wow. That's great.
Fourth bonus. This has got to be the big one.
Oh, that's.
Stay dry.
It's almost impossible. We're gonna get wet almost immediately.
Yeah, unless you've been through this, I don't think a lot of you understand how uncomfortable it is. I would recommend to most people immediately get out of your comfort zone. When we would go out to the field, but we were only going to be in the field for the day, if it starts to drizzle, I'd see a bunch of people staying in Humvees and stuff to stay dry. I would look at my soldiers, be like, bravo, come here, big ass puddle right here, bro. I'd be like, everybody get doing that right there immediately breaks being uncomfortable. To all my soldiers out there who watch my which I know y'all do, I know y'all are going to send me for this. I appreciate all of you for working with me because we got after it.
Ours is stay dry.
This place serves unlimited rice for 50 cents. My wife and I are still in China, and we stumbled upon this hole-in-the-wall spot. To call this restaurant no frills is an understatement. You're responsible for getting your own bowls and cutlery. The chairs are made of plastic, and you also have to serve your own tea. But the good news is the food is really affordable, but we're curious how it tastes. One of the biggest upsides of this restaurant is that the rice is unlimited. They even have different types of rice that you can choose from. My wife told me to stop taking all the rice, but the rice is unlimited, so I had to stack up my bowl. With rice in hand, it's time to try the food. First, we got this beef and veggie dish. Immediately, it reminded me of food my parents would make. It's like home-style cooking. Like, this veggie dish is super simple, but the flavor of the veggies really comes out. But this egg dish is a game changer. The key move is that they add vinegar, which really brightens up the dish.
Hurt themselves, they try and hurt police officers. Alright, take me to the car, please. Why?
Why? That is a red flag. Those of you who don't know, someone's like, oh, can you please put me in the car, please? That's not normal behavior. Unless there's a bunch of people in public, people typically do not ask that shit. When shit like that happens, immediately, between the toes to the booty hole to inside their fucking eyeballs, check everything. It's a fugazi. It's so they can get in the car and pull out whatever they're concealing.
Hurt themselves, they try and hurt police officers.
Go to prison again with no boundaries, you're in a lot of fucking trouble. Like, you can get raped. I've seen a dude get raped. I've listened to a dude get raped for weeks. A lot of shit happens, like bad stuff to guys that have no boundaries. A lot of guys think, like, if someone pushes them or like, punches them or something, they don't have to fight back, you know, I can just run and do things. It's a lot of things that can happen eventually when you can't run. I was in with a guy who had his second drink driving charge. He's like, oh, I'm settling up with you. His leg was like stapled from his ankle to like his hip. He had these like nice track shoes. In jail, people love those because they can trade them straight for drugs. And I said to the guy, I was like, there's this specific guy in the unit. If you take your shoes and you give them to him, everyone will leave you alone. He's like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm just going to fucking like wear them. And I was outside on the phone and I saw the guards running through the unit. But then I looked in and saw like the dude was on the ground. But then I walked in more. I saw like just this massive pool of blood. He's like unconscious. And then I saw like his leg had opened. It looked like a piece of fucking like opened up roast beef. I remember thinking like this dude just doesn't fucking listen. Go to prison again with no boundaries, you're in a lot of fucking trouble. Like, you can get raped. I've seen a dude get raped. I've listened to a dude get raped for weeks. A lot of shit happens, like bad stuff to guys that have no boundaries. A lot of guys think like if someone pushes them or like punches them or something, they don't have to fight back, you know, I can just run and do things. It's a lot of things that can happen eventually when you can't. I was in with a guy who had his second drink driving charge. He's like, oh, I'm settling up with you. His leg was like stapled from his ankle to like his hip. He had these like nice track shoes. In jail, people love.
Can you make me your favorite kava order? What are we gonna start with? I never had kava before. You gonna like it? I'm excited. Oh, that actually looks good. What's your choice of protein? What are you going with? Nah, I go with it. Do your favorite order. I'm going to try it for you. Let's do this.
This is like the healthy Chipotle. I'm glad you were making my bowl. I knew you had good taste buds from the beginning. What sauce is that? He's doing it right. Oh my. Are you confident I'm gonna like this? I'm gonna give it to you. What? It's enough. No, I'll pay for it. Yeah. Hell yeah. Thank you, brother. This is Grayson's order right here. First time trying kava. My man is a legend. Gave me it for free. Kava. Give that man a raise. Oh my gosh. Whoa. Grayson did it right. 10 out of 10. Can you make me your favorite kava order? What are we gonna start with?
Just got it fixed and everything. Just get a little excited is all. Sorry about that. License. Yeah. Isn't that the deal here?
So the other motoring public that they're gonna see you coming up, lane change when you're going 70 live with you. You're not.
Yeah, that's. I just was a little excited is all. I understand what I did and I'm sorry about that. Did the insurance as well? Insurance.
These folks are seeing up the cars.
Right.
Particularly in the dark tunnels.
Yeah.
That stuff back will be with you in just a second.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Alright, one by everyone's rules. The Violet Stone. This I love. That sign, caution, well done.
In poker, your biggest wins will often be accompanied by the smallest cards. So we call a $20 raise in the small blind. Under the gun calls as well. And we're going 4 ways to a flop, where we drill the set. Now there's a maniac on our right, so we check it on over to them. But it checks around. And the turn is another deuce. So again, we check. And now under the gun bets 35. The middle player makes the call, but the button folds. So it's back on us, and we raise it up to 100. And the under the gun player calls, but the next guy folds, and we're going to the river. And it's the best river in the entire deck. So we check to him again, and when he makes it just 200, we now know he definitely has a king. So we go for 2,700. And after a little bit of taking, he does make the call. We table the pause, and he shows king 9 for a pretty brutal cooler. Let me know in the comments what hands you've won your biggest pots with. In poker.
Wait a minute. Excuse me? Delete it right now. This fella is coming, and he's not playing. Wait a minute. Excuse me? Delete it right now. This fella is coming. My battery must have died.
Oh, see.
Tarkov insurance and everything.
Got everything on it? Did you have this before? Did I stop you on this? Okay.
This time I got freaking plates, insurance, registration. I have lights, but I guess I died.
You have signal on?
Doesn't even turn signals, not so well.
Doesn't?
No.
Are you using your hands?
I'm not gonna run it. Feel like you run over. You mind if I pull up my insurance in the phone?
No, absolutely.
Do you want to buy the plate? I can run by the plate to see if it comes out. I'm sorry. I got a new phone. Yeah, I got a new phone. I freaking hadn't put the login information in there. Yeah, I really didn't know that. Today we're going to talk about lift kits versus suspension systems. Lift kits are great for what they're intended for. If you have a vehicle that you want to change the physical appearance, put larger tires.
So this is the two item combo here at Hong Kong Express in Westminster. I'm only going to get noodles as my side. And look how much noodles they put on there. Look at that. Wow. Okay, and then for the two items, can I get orange chicken? And I'm also going to get their signature barbecue pork. That stuff is so addicting. And look at that. So much orange chicken. Oh my god, the entire thing. Look at that. That is crazy. So much barbecue pork. Oh my god, I'm so excited. So this is the
But if you gotta like the real actual.
I've been eating chicken wings 199 consecutive days. Parents have been very concerned about this journey, so they've required me to get my blood drawn and get a physical done. A doctor wouldn't let me film the results, so I'm having my dad go through the results, and he's gonna let me know what I found. My dad was a practicing pharmacologist for the last 30 years.
So the total cholesterol range should be between 100 and 199. Your result came back at 188, which is within the normal range. However, the bad cholesterol is supposed to be between 0 and 99.
What I have?
Yours is 106. All I'm saying is, there's a small signal you're eating a little bit too much fried food. You want to hear the good news?
Okay.
Your HDL is the good cholesterol. They essentially get rid of the bad cholesterol so that it doesn't build up in your coronary arteries. Anything above 60 is what we call protected. Yours is 75, which is phenomenal. But based on that, 10-year risk of a heart attack is only 0.1%.
That's the lowest number.
Hello, everybody. Pretty shocking. There ain't a lot of people here. Yeah, that's shocking. I understand.
Can you make me your favorite pizza?
I got you.
Let me guess. You're gonna start with tomato sauce. You look like a Parmesan guy. Dude, I've never tried white sauce. I wonder if it's gonna be good. Blue cheese? Go with your favorite order. Blue cheese is a little wild, but I'm willing to taste it. You love some good pepperoni, huh?
Yeah. Bacon and everything?
This actually looks pretty good. And we got a meat lover over here.
Jalapenos?
Oh, I can't handle spices. I will probably cry after that.
Take it out.
No, leave it. And this is your go-to, huh?
Yeah.
Blaze does it right. Oven baked. The Sunny Special looking real nice. Gotta finish it with the ranch, huh? Yes, sir. Where's the tip?
No tip option. Yeah, you're good.
This is the Sunny Special. I was a little scared when he added the jalapenos. Oh my gosh. Hey, yo, Sunny, try this, brother. That's the Sunny. Can you make me
The world's shortest and easiest 84 grams of protein, 230 calories per pop, 460 in total. All delicious. These are actually really good. These just taste like chocolate milk. I prefer vanilla. Obviously, half chocolate. I'll drink them both. Vanilla tastes like melted ice cream. It's really good. This is how easy it is to prepare and make this. I think this is a summer month. This is probably bottled in July. Just a hint. You can taste some of the floral undertones. The world's shortest and easiest.
Hey, Michael, you're not retiring. You're being fired, Michael. You're being fired for launching an illegal investigation into the mayor. You're being fired, Michael. She's just allowing you to walk away in grace that you don't deserve. You are being fired, and you owe Commander Carranza an apology for covering up her sexual harassment. You covered up sexual harassment for years. Hey, Michael, you're not retiring. You're being.
He's heard me look at you.
Another guy that
I feel like could care less about the money is Joe Rogan. How important is he to the UFC to the UFC? And what in general do you love about Joe?
It's a fact. He doesn't care about money.
No, motherfucker, took forever.
Sorry, I was. You know what I was doing.
Yeah, fucking gooning over there, stupid dumbass.
Gooning. What level are you, buddy?
39. Shit. I just played a couple games. I was like a set away from 39. Honestly, bro,
Damn,
if I
how many
played enough, I
matches
could
is
hit
it?
it tonight.
How many matches does it take for you to level up?
Like 2, if I win them.
Oh yeah, if you win. You played standard or quick play?
Yeah, standard.
But take my meds. Hello?
What's good?
That's good. What you doing right now? Just chilling?
Yeah, just chilling.
I feel. Damn, my face is red as fuck. Gotta take my meds, brother.
For real.
Are you watching the stream or is that your dad in the background?
No, I'm just watching Instagram.
Yeah. Damn, brother. I need to find me a girl who loves me, brother.
What happened?
I need to find a girl who loves me, brother.
Aw.
Know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
I know what you're saying, brother.
Know what I'm saying, brother? It be getting cold at night. Aw.
Aw.
Take a dab. Shit. Yeah. It's just hot out here, brother. Aw.
Yeah, it's gonna start getting hot, bro.
I know. Yeah, dude, fuck trying to find a bitch at the bar.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Probably different.
Yeah, I could just kind of tell, like, when you're, like, drunk, it's not even real, you know? Hello?
What'd you say?
I said when you're, like, drunk, like, when you're drinking, trying to hook up with someone, like, you just tell it's not real.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Because, like, they're going to escape from life, too.
Yeah, they really are, bro. That's what I noticed. Like, when I was there, I was like, oh. I was like, oh, when I saw all the old people and shit, I'm like, damn, like, all these motherfuckers are sad.
Yeah, it's gonna be us not too long.
Fuck, no, I hope that's not me.
Huh. I'm on if you want to hop on.
So I'll hop on her in a little bit. My dad's running the PC.
Oh, you're good.
Oh, take a dab right now. Oh, shit. Hey. Same old shit, brother.
Sometimes I feel like it.
You ever thought, bro, like, you know that shit going on in Russia?
Yeah.
Like the shooting? I wonder if
Yeah.
that shit would ever happen down here.
That's what they've been saying. Not like, oh, it's gonna happen like right now. Like, obviously the what is it called? I think the FBI or someone warned them about it. The CIA. But oh no, you're letting all these illegal immigrants into here. It's already happened with 9/11. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, I wonder how many of these illegals are like fucking sleeper cells and shit.
That's crazy. Wonder what's gonna happen.
Alright, hopefully I'm at the right place at the right time, bro, not the wrong.
For real. Just stay away from crowded areas. You'll be okay.
That's true. No, it sucked though. Imagine you go to the grocery store one day and you get shot up.
Nah, bro, they're doing like festivals and stuff.
Yeah, real shit.
I know what you mean, though. Just going somewhere like normal, and then get shot.
Yeah, that was fucking sucked, bro.
Louis go?
I don't know. I haven't looked at it straight.
5 seconds.
He's probably, last time I checked, he was on 5.
Bomb must be located and defused.
Still. He's probably just streaming that shit. Because all he does is stream Siege. I would get sick of that shit. Especially if you're just getting fucking fucked on all day. Fuck that.
Yeah. That shit does. Especially if you're not winning.
Huh?
Said especially if you're not winning. It just gets annoying.
Fuck that.
Cause you already spend like 10-20 minutes a match, and then imagine if you're just losing.
Yeah, ranked matches last like 30-40 minutes sometimes.
How many rounds is it? 6?
I think it goes, yeah. No, it's 7 rounds.
No, but how many do you have to win? 4?
Yeah, I think you have to win 4. But like, if you guys go 4-4 overtime, you're gonna have to fucking win 7, I think.
Oh, I forget. They do the overtime like that.
Yeah, ranked just takes forever, bro. Cause think about it. You gotta match make. That shit takes like 10 minutes sometimes. You gotta ban operators. You gotta set up sites. And you have like 3 minutes to attack, and that's just one round, bro. That shit takes forever. Play Tarkov.
Dude, I need a faster RAM. That's why I'm not able to load Tarkov. I have 2600 megahertz.
Yeah, your fucking game's gonna explode. I had to upgrade my RAM just to play Tarkov. I had the same problem.
Where can I buy that?
RAM?
Oh yeah, bro.
I just went to Best Buy. We got 16 gigs at $3,600. It wasn't too bad. I think it was like $50, $60. It's not too expensive.
Right now. The diffuser is no longer in your possession. The diffuser is now secured.
Yeah, bro. I think I'm gonna buy it off eBay.
Yeah, it's probably cheaper. Cause you can get used
10
RAM.
seconds remaining.
And then plus they have that money back guarantee.
5 seconds. One op 4
You'll be alright.
Op 4 eliminated.
Cheers, play.
Cheers. What's she doing? Oh yeah, I tuned up.
I'll take a little dab.
We need to locate a bomb.
Damn, 5,200 megahertz, bro.
What?
I said 5,200 megahertz.
It's fast as fuck.
10 seconds.
Your motherboard has to be able to read it too. Some
Oh.
motherboards are rated up to a certain degree.
You've located a bomb. Make your way to
That's one thing. That's the first thing I'm gonna do, bro. Then I'm just gonna go get my all because bro, I have two good ass motherboards, bro. But I know the guy was telling me what is it called? UTech, bro. He's like it can be like broken, but not like broken. He's like broken's like it's not turning on at all, but like the motherboard reboots, right? Maybe it's just a component on it, but I don't know if that's fixable.
Like does it turn on?
Yeah, bro. Just the hella good one that I bought years ago. It just reboots, bro. Like every time it'll reboot. And like I tried doing the CMOS, I tried doing like everything else. It just don't work.
Yeah, I was about to say, did you try it?
Yeah, bro. I tried that for like a month and a half. That's why I wasn't able to get my refund because it wasn't during a policy.
That sucks.
Yeah, so I was like.
Yeah, I remember you showing me. It was a nice motherboard. Too.
And then the new one, bro, the newer one, the one that I just got, it has a built-in Wi-Fi and everything, bro. It's hella nice. But the only thing is it doesn't want to like turn on. I tried to, I don't know if you know how like you can boot the PC by doing like that screwdriver trick.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. I didn't want to do that, and I was like, what the hell, bro? Like any PC that I've ever had does that. Like, I don't know. So that's why I was like, all right, bro. There's something. I think the guy just maybe fucked up a pin, but I don't even know if it's worth replacing. I don't know what labor is gonna be, because already to look at it, it's $50, and bro, I could just buy a new one again. You know what I mean? Just don't want to spend the money.
Yeah, I think you're honestly, bro. I think you're
better off buying a new one. Yeah. Which is sad.
Yeah, did you get both of those off like third party?
Yeah, bro. The first one, bro, I got off a hella trusted website, PC Part Picker.
Oh man.
Yeah, bro, and I was actually pissed because I was like, bro, it was my first time using that website.
Yeah, and I've only heard good things about that website too. That sucks.
Yeah.
You've dropped the diffuser.
Yeah, my computer's way back. That thing needs to be fucking shit. The TV?
Recover the diffuser. 50 seconds remaining.
Yeah, it sucks. Can't.
10 seconds left. One op 4 remaining. Down to one friendly. 5 seconds. Time limit reached. We need to locate a bomb.
The day. The time. Damn, you got work tomorrow?
Yeah, I work in the morning again.
That's cool. Hell yeah. Morning shifts are the best.
Yeah, bro. It just sucks to wake up sometimes and like gotta go straight to work.
Insertion in
What time do
5
you usually
seconds.
wake up? Like 7:38?
Yeah, 7:30. I took a shower this morning. I usually don't like take a shower before I go. It kind of felt good. But I honestly,
Yeah,
bro, like I just get a Red Bull when I go in because like I just feel like that wakes me up. It just makes time go by fast.
Hey, oh, hey, tell me about it.
For real.
I'd fucking
That's
be
your
up at,
go-to.
I'd be there at 12 o'clock chugging a fucking Red Bull. Yeah, I don't know how the fuck I did that shit, dude. I don't know how I did night crew. Now that I look at it, because I would go to bed. I go to bed around like 2, 3. I'm like, how the fuck would I stay up all fucking night, bro? Every day.
For real, and you're just like sitting there like doing the fucking, what is it called?
Just stalking, bro.
Yeah, stalking, bro. At 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, 6, 7 goes by.
Dude, I would be working 12-hour shifts sometimes too, bro.
It's crazy.
I don't know how I did that shit. And like my skin was like the worst, like honestly. Like I was going through like the worst withdrawal parts.
Fuck.
I don't know how the fuck I did that. I don't know how my night crew manager, he's been doing that shit for like 30 years or like 20 years. I'm like, holy fuck, bro.
Damn, what the hell?
That's horrible for your health. He'd be like,
That's
yeah, I get like
terrible.
4 or 3 hours of sleep. I'm like, dude, you're gonna fucking die of a heart attack.
For real, huh?
That's so unhealthy for you. He was a beast, though, I ain't gonna lie. Some people are just built different, bro.
For real, that's crazy, huh? What the hell?
Yeah, you get like 4 hours. He was a full-time student too, bro. He went to Fresno community, taking full courses and shit.
Damn.
He worked till like 8 o'clock in the morning, go home, study, go to school, and then like sleep for like 3-4 hours. I'm like, dude, what the fuck?
That motherfucker can do it, huh?
But at what cost, bro? Holy shit. Your health?
Yeah, bro, for real. He didn't care?
Nah. Remember my night crew manager, Dad? He did that shit for 20 years. He'd get like 3-4 hours of sleep every night.
You see what happened to Diddy?
Yeah, you got raided. Yeah, isn't that horrible for your heart too?
Reloading. Cover me.
That's bad.
Lights on.
Yeah, he raided, did. Oh, I saw a Twitter post.
15 seconds.
And they were like, he's trying to flush all the dildo.
Oh.
5 seconds.
They probably found some weird shit raiding his house.
Eliminated.
For real, huh, bro? That's crazy.
Diddy.
I wonder what the hell they, like, bro. I don't understand like how, like, don't get me wrong. There's like this stuff like maybe he could be like doing sexual trafficking, but then they do like other stuff, bro. Like, oh, he's accused of adrenochrome.
Oh, the shit with the like fetuses and shit.
Yeah, or like they use it to like stay young or something.
Yeah.
But it's like, what the hell, bro? Like, how could you go from? Well, don't get me wrong, sexual what is it called? Trafficking is terrible in and of itself, but I just wonder, like, what the fuck, bro?
I'm like, what the fuck is going? Like, just man, what the
Yeah.
fuck is going on over there?
Because bro, one thing's like actually like happen. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't know, but then you go to like magic, bro. You know what I mean? Like now we're wizards.
Fuck.
Like, hey, I'm just playing Siege. What the hell? No, I'm kidding.
No, for real though. Life is fucking crazy, dude.
Y'all motherfuckers are witches and shit. I'm here sitting here playing Siege.
Yeah, y'all motherfuckers are sacrificing shit. I'm over here playing fucking Tarkov. Fuck.
What the fuck, bro? Yeah, let's just blame ISIS.
Down to 10 seconds.
Okay. Did you see the Taliban? We're like, yeah, you guys are fucked up.
Aw, what the hell? Nah.
The Taliban, that's funny. They condemned ISIS. They're like, yeah, you guys are committing like severe humanitarian like fucking rights and shit.
What the fuck, bro?
And that's coming from the fucking Taliban. Like, Jesus. That's funny. Even the Taliban.
They're like, oh, dude, you guys are fucked up. That's crazy.
Yeah, you gotta be pretty fucked up for the Taliban.
Hella, bruh. Not pretty. You gotta be hella. That must have been.
Even the Taliban are like, damn, you niggas are fucked up.
For real, that's. What the fuck, bruh? It was bad, bro. It was literally like no Russian. I was telling people at work, I was like, you remember that mission, no Russian? I was like,
Yeah,
just think of that.
Did you see all like the videos, bro?
Yeah, but bro, you see a lot of them look fake.
Yeah, some of them did.
Yeah, like I saw this one where he ran into a room and started shooting the AK, and like it started sparking everywhere. And it's like, what the hell? Like bullets don't spark.
Yeah.
Well, don't get me wrong, they do if they hit like metal or something, but.
Loading mag.
I don't know, it's just crazy. Sucks to be there.
Wrong place, wrong time.
Wrong place, wrong time.
Rusty metal.
Op 4, last stop standing.
What's good?
Oh, this motherfucker's here.
Hello, too.
It's chilling.
I feel. Yeah, I'm just chilling right now, about to work out.
Yeah. Hey, you like Diddy, huh?
Op 4 eliminated. Mission successful.
Yeah, homie chills
Damn,
with
that
Diddy.
big black bread.
Someone's
No,
not streaming.
They're gonna raid your house next, Louis.
I got stuff on my computer, brother.
No wonder why you have no space on your computer.
It took up 2 terabytes. It's sick because there's like people with actually like 2 terabytes worth of sick shit.
Dude, more.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, bro, it's bad. Like,
I got a whole bunker.
Like 200 terabytes.
bro, what the fuck? That's actually sick, bro. Like,
Diddy's the Epstein of
that's
the rap
bad.
industry. Oh, here's a picture with former President Barack Obama and Diddy. Michelle Obama once praised Harvey Weinstein as a wonderful human being. Aw.
He's cool.
You remember Harvey Weinstein?
My foreskin's itchy.
What the fuck, dude? What did you just say?
I haven't been watching it, brother.
Aw, you know it's sick, bro. You're sick for that stream. Homie,
What?
relax.
Oh,
Nah, I saw that. I was like, hey, fucking
relapsed, brother.
You relapsed.
Yeah, I told Nate about it a few days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to, brother.
Homie sitting
Keep
over
an eye out
here
for Op 4
relapsed.
attempting to defuse your bombs.
The way I said it was sick.
I had to.
I couldn't take it, brother. It wouldn't stop itching.
He's gonna be consumed his whole life.
My skin got stuck behind my head. I just like 40.
Op 4
She's just like 40. And like nephew, like uncle.
And that's my uncle. Uncle raised me right. Oh.
Damn, dude, I dusted my PC today, Louis. Oh my fucking god.
That's your dick.
Dude, it was like so bad. Like, bro, I'm getting like 14 degrees C lower. That's how bad it was.
Damn.
Like, that shit was horrible.
Lame ass boy.
Dog.
Lame ass boy. You my brother.
I'm your big brother.
Oh, what the fuck?
Big brother.
I'm
Chris,
edgy.
big brother.
I'm edgy,
What the fuck?
Oh yeah, I got my cards. Shit,
Card?
nah, card, like credit, debit card.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, should I
Barely's
always
got a
fucking
like
car?
debit or credit?
Nah, just debit. Cause remember how my cousins lost my shit?